Well, hello everybody. Hope you had a good lunch.
Hello,
and
Billy.
a good lunch break. Lloyd, are you there already?
Yeah.
You only just left my side about 5 minutes ago. That's impressive. You've run up the hill.
I think I'm fast. I ran.
Well, it was those 4 main courses you had for lunch. That'll do it.
Well, look, there was a challenge there, and I had to accept. So
Fair enough.
So I did.
Fair enough. Well, we've got about a minute or so, according to I've got a countdown. I've got on the stream test that we've got going today, because we'll be live streaming tomorrow. I've got all the cameras and I've got a countdown clock, and I think we've got about a minute or so until we get going. I hope you all had a good lunch, had a good chance to have a wander around the paddock if you're down this end and see all the cars, and I should encourage you, if you haven't, do come down and have a look around the paddock, because it's fully open and it's great to see all the machines in their glory, and all the drivers. Have a chat to them, see how they're getting on. So we now have the third practice run of the day for the 2-day competitors, and then we will have at the end of that the second and final timed runs for the 1-day meetings, which is the Jaguar Drivers Club Speed Championship and the Bugatti Owners Club New Barn Speed Championship. So some timed runs to come at the end of the day. But I mean, it was a pretty breathless morning. We're already into the 23s, and it's only practice 2. So let's see what everyone can do this afternoon. I think there'll be people keeping their powder dry, though.
Yes, I agree with that. Except if you are Andy Grennan, because he's just flat out all the time.
That's an exception. Of course.
But I think a few highlights. I think I always enjoy the private Cayman GT4 Championship of Richard Snow and Robert Lancaster Gay. That's always good to follow. I think any time a Brennan steps in a car as well, especially in a single-seater, that's always good too. And I've got my eye on Will Hall this weekend as well.
He looked very strong this morning.
He looked really strong, really quick. So I'd be tipping him for a good result in the run-off, hopefully tomorrow.
Afternoon, boys. Can you hear me?
Say again,
Chris.
Yes,
Hello. I've made it up halfway up the hill anyway to cross in. I walked up. That was good for me, wasn't it?
That's impressive.
I know.
It's quite a way.
I bumped into Mike West and John McQuillan walking the hill as well, and we were talking about that. They should make Formula One, because it gets a bit boring, make them all stop for a burger halfway, and of course it would time your burger run as according to how big the queue was, so it'd make it more interesting, wouldn't it?
Would they do vegan burgers for Lewis Hamilton?
Is he a vegan now?
Oh, yes.
Oh, very much so.
I didn't know that.
I think Max Verstappen could stop for lunch at the moment and still win.
I think you're probably right, yeah.
Luckily, we don't have that problem in hill climbing, when victories are usually decided by tenths of seconds rather than anything more than that.
Well, we won't go into the Formula One, will we, at the moment? Because I think we all know what we think. That no one's anti-Max. I think we're all just thinking, I wish there was somebody else that could chase him down.
Yes, definitely. So we're just waiting in. Flags are coming in, I believe. I heard a whistle.
I've got flags in at the S's.
Okay, so they're just waiting here. Flags in it.
By the way, just to interrupt, David's left a little note up here. He said, could you all say a special happy birthday to Clive Reed, one of today's marshals on Kennel Bend?
He did actually give that message.
Did he?
He did.
Well, then I've done my bit.
But Clive, happy birthday again.
Happy birthday, Clive.
Happy birthday, Clive.
Happy birthday, Clive. Or you could say happy birthday to me for Monday, because my birthday's on Monday. So
my goodness me.
Happy birthday to me.
Well, we won't ask you how old, but it's quite young, actually. You're
25, I think. Lloyd,
25. Amazing.
Absolutely. Yes. No, I'm 30. I'll be 31.
Yeah, sure.
I'll be 31.
Well, I don't give my age out anymore. I'm so old, I don't give my age out.
You went backwards at 40, didn't you?
Yeah.
No, it stops.
It stops now, I'm afraid. I couldn't even remember how old I was anyway, I'm afraid, these days. What do we... Now, you said, I heard your thing, as I was just coming down from the top. I got a feeling it's one straight run through this afternoon.
Yes. So I believe the plan is practice 3 for the 2-day meeting. And then the final 2 batches, batches 7 and 8, will be the second time runs for the 1-day meetings. That's the Jags and the Bugatti Owners Club New Barn Speed Championship.
And what's the plan for the dual-driven cars then?
In what?
If we're just doing one straight run through.
No, as in it'll be batched and everything.
Fine, right.
Everyone gets one more. Basically, everyone gets one more run. I think was the point that
lovely.
Mr. Ponsford was making.
Well, he was indeed. Anyway, I've just discovered I can wind this window thing up so I can see a bit more now, so that's all good. Yeah, it was a bit restricted. I don't know why it was wound halfway down, but there we go.
So got a car on the line, so we're about to get running. It's Dave Garnett in the Renault Clio Cup 182 for his third run of the day, 2.93 second start. Nicely turns into Kennel into your view.
Yeah, I've got him now. Well, of course, this is one for Lloyd. He loves these little Clios. He's our Clio expert. And as I see, the little David Garnett in the little Clio on his way up to Bottomless now.
I do. I love Clios. I make no secret of it, especially in French racing blue. FL05 DNF. This is David Garnett's car. It is very popular, and it just goes and takes all the abuse it gets. It's the only way to drive a Clio.
So David Garnett heads towards the finish. He does a 37.40. Ben Fisher now on the hill in the Subaru Impreza. Quick car.
Yes, indeed. Yes, we see this car quite a lot, to be fair. It's actually, if anyone's coming here for the first time, it's very steep, this hill, isn't it? So when you walk up the hill, it's surprising how steep it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I always like a walk up to my commentary box first thing in the morning. I always feel like I earn my breakfast, that's for sure. But Ben Fisher off towards the finish.
Next on the hill, Joy Hoyle in the Caterham 7 Super Sprint. Joy goes very quickly in this car indeed.
Yes, she does. In fact, Joy's locally from Yard Way. She's also been one of our instructors. In fact, that still is. Drives very well indeed. Very speedy lady, Joy.
Absolutely, I love this car. It's one of my favourite Caterhams, Westfields is here about. I think it's fantastically prepared. She flashes under my commentary box and she'll be across the line now.
If you're not sure if it's a Caterham or Westfield, locator field is the best way to describe them collectively. Joy across the line. Caterham 7 Super Sprint 32.65. 32.65, and the time for Ben Fisher was a 37.72. That's the end of the batch, very short batch here, as they are the dual-driven cars for the early classes, Class A. So those cars will now come back down the hill to hand over to their teammates, and then we will go through in batch 2 the rest of Class A. So the road-going series production cars will go into specialist production cars, modified series production cars, so all the sort of road car-based categories that you're going to see in the next batch.
And a little treat for tomorrow, if you're enjoying what you're seeing today and you want to come back tomorrow to see the timed runs, you'll get a glimpse of Damien Bradley and Stephen Darley's Subaru Legacy. Quite a famous car, you'll have no doubt seen it on various social medias, but that is an extraordinarily quick piece of equipment, that thing.
And they are going to try and get a hill record for a tin top, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Would that be... do they hold their record?
No.
Where's the Ian Rowlands?
No, the
come in?
6R4.
Is it Ian Rowlands?
Yeah,
yes, I thought it was.
They
yes.
want that.
Yes.
Legacy is getting quicker and quicker. They're both extremely rapid, driving each other on, aren't they? And with the horsepower they've got now and with the commitment, I think they've got a fair chance if it stays dry.
Yes, indeed. The other exciting car, which was on the entry list but isn't here today, and I hope that's because it's at the same meet. I think they're at Mallory today.
It's the quick 60.
Quick 60 challenge today. So I'm thinking the
Audi.
Yes, the R8 based Audi that doesn't have much R8 left anymore, and it's turbocharged.
Yes, I know the green thing. Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, that's
the SBR Chrono. That's what.
That's the baby, and isn't it running a Cosworth engine in that? I believe.
Is it? I thought it was turbocharged 4.2 litre Audi engine.
Well, yeah, I thought that, but I'm not entirely certain. But either way, the Legacy seems to have the legs of it at the moment. But nevertheless, it is a very rapid. And I remember seeing him in the wet here, actually. Was it last year or the year before? When I first saw that car, and I thought, wow, this bloke can drive this thing. It's an amazing bit of kit.
Yes, it is indeed, and I think both those cars are due here tomorrow. I know the Subaru is.
Yeah, no,
hopefully the Audi is too.
I'm pretty certain they are, and yeah, they're going to be. And the other course, very very rapid tin top is Stephen Moore in his Evo 6, which is an
incredible thing.
Beast. He was 2 seconds off the line, wasn't he, this morning?
Yep, he was indeed. Anyway, flags are in. I've got a car on the line. It's John McGillen in the Fisher Fury. They were having issues with first gear when we were last here, I remember. Couldn't get it off the line in practice. Seemed absolutely fine this morning. And, well, we're about to find out if it still is. So off the line goes John McGillen. That's much better, and he takes second. That's perfect. So John is off and away and into your view.
Yes, they've sorted the gear issue. There's getting off the line. They've played around with the linkages. They've played around with the gearbox. It is now absolutely going great. He was telling me this car was a right nail when they bought it, but now look at it now. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic in its Kawasaki green colour as it flashes into my sight as a little left-hander in through bottom S. Just drifts out slightly for the exit of top S, but nice and central in the middle of the road towards the finish.
And here's Johnny Red, by the way. Oh, hiya, Johnny.
We wait for a time for John McGilling. It's the 34.36. Meanwhile, on the hill, Laura Wardle in the 911 Carrera.
Stunning car, this one, isn't it? Doesn't that engine noise sounds magnificent? Oh, do I like that? Would I like to take that car home with me? Heading into bottom S right now at a speed of 73.
Yeah, it's a fantastic car. It always amazes me how quick this thing gets off the line. It's as quick as the single-seater off the line, but it's campaigned here for years and years and years. Great car, great setup across the line.
Waiting for a time for the Porsche. It's a 36.24. Next on the line, Sam Nicholson in the venerable Mallet Mark 23. This car's been hill climbing for quite some time, and these guys are going very well indeed into your sight.
Yeah, again, another one of my favourites in this batch. We've got some glorious looking cars, but these Mallets, what a fantastic piece of engineering these have been over the years. This one's, I think, a Mark 20, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I've recently been enlightened to the historical value this car has of very... done lots and lots of events, and I'm sure Billy will tell you all about that later.
I will later. Meanwhile, Robert Penrose in the booming, bellowing Pilbeam on the hill.
7 litres Chevrolet power in the back of that beast. He doesn't it sound magnificent? Must be a right hand to drive into your view.
Yeah, absolutely. Always shakes the commentary box as it unleashes that 7 litre fury towards the finish. But yeah, great car, real quick.
Heads towards the finish, and the time for Samuel Nicholson was a 31.56. Robert Penrose had a 32.68. James Chalmers now on the hill in the MX-5. He's going very well in this car this year.
Yeah, I think it's his first season, John Chalmers' lad, and the little MX-5, very popular, aren't they, now as a starter base for hill climbing? Into your view.
Yeah, great car. You can get for not a lot of money. You can get a 5-speed gearbox, a 1.8 litre twin cam, and rear-wheel drive with a locking diff. So all the basics covered.
As he heads away towards the finish, we've got Richard Pates on the hill now in the MGF Trophy. Into your sight now.
Yeah, I've got him now. He's coming nice and steady at the moment, this yellow MGF. Yeah, these I believe rear-engine cars, aren't they? Or with a mid-engine, would they be, Lloyd?
The MGFs are mid-engine, yeah, mid-engine K-series.
The time for James Chalmers, by the way, was a 41.26.
Yeah, we've got Richard Pates with me now in his yellow MG. Yeah, K-series, 160 brake horsepower, the higher power variant.
He's off towards the finish. Next on the hill, Ian Richard in the Renault RS Clio 182. Lloyd, you'll like this one.
Lloyd loves Clios, but actually I'm quite fond of them. I've seen loads of them on the hills, and I'm told they're really great fun to drive. I think must have a go.
Do you know, for me, they're the closest thing you'll get to a touring car with number plates for the money. I just think they're just fantastic. 2 litre, 16 valve, high revving, front wheel drive. What's not to like?
He heads up towards the finish now. The time for Richard Pates, by the way, was at 42.37. Time for Ian Richards, 37.35. Peter Siddle now on the hill in another Clio Sport 182 Cup. This one is really nicely prepared, and he was millimetres away from the Rector cell.
Yeah, this one is superb. It's got a 244 brake horsepower engine in that Clio, so that's rather a lot more than 172.
Yeah, that's about as much power as you're going to get out of a Clio engine without putting a Megane engine in it. So he's absolutely wild out of top S, almost clips the bank, but all under control, millimetre perfect and across the line.
He's across the line now. Peter Siddle has a 33.71. Dave Wilson now on the hill. It's in the Peugeot 205.
He is indeed, yeah, 2-tone Peugeot 205, popular little car for hill climbing. In fact, a very quite desirable little hatchbacks these days, fetching lots of money.
Well, I wish mine was worth lots of money.
I'll give you a couple of grand for it.
Deal. Yeah, he flashes into my commentary box. Always perfectly driven, this 205, really is.
He's heading up towards the line now. It's a 35.65. Robbie Birrell on the hill now, going very quickly in this Cayman GTS.
Yeah, that's a whole glut of lovely Porsches here today, and very rapid they are too.
Yeah, absolutely. And this GTS, this is the 2.5 litre 4-cylinder. There was some controversy about this engine when it came out, but the performance it delivers is absolutely unbelievable. 350 brake horsepower, loads of torque across the line.
Time for Robbie Burrell, 32.84, 32.84. I think that's putting it politely, saying there was controversy around it not being flat 6.
Yes.
Next off the line, Richard York doesn't have that problem. This is a flat 6. It's the Porsche Cayman GT4 Club Sport with you.
A bit special, this one, actually. I spoke to him at Lowton about this a couple of years ago, and actually this is a very serious Porsche. This is like a competition Porsche that you can buy for the road, effectively, and lots of horsepower, everything right on the car. Sounds terrific.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a PDK variant as well. This is what was offered in the 718 version. The first generation GT4 was 6-speed manual only, but this is a PDK. Gives you a 7-speed auto clutch gearbox. Nice and quick.
Heads up towards the finish, crosses it now. Time for Richard York, 38.01. Peter Herbert now on the hill in this very quick 911 Carrera 2.
Yeah, well, what's not to like about this? This is a proper 911, isn't it? That one, to be fair, little well-tailed, little spoiler on the back there. That is like quintessential air-cooled engine.
This is a really, really interesting choice for Hillclimb. It is such a pretty car. They're super valuable, left-hand drive as well. Lovely BBS alloys on it as well. That's a really, really beautiful car. And fair play to him for bringing it out.
It is indeed. He's crossing the line now. It's 34.89. Ross McDonald on the hill in another Porsche. This is a 2.7 litre RS.
Well, another very special original 911. Look at the little spoiler on the back of that one. I mean, that is a car you would want to take home, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I've got so much time for people that get these things out, hill climb them, race them as they were designed to be raced, and not locking them up in museums. So yeah, Ross McDonald drifted under my commentary box as I say that.
Next on the hill, Phil James in another Porsche Cayman GT4.
Wow, that's the more modern generation of Porsche. Highly desirable, of course, water-cooled engines in these later ones, which started in about the year 1998.
Yeah, so this is the 4-litre variant. Started life as a 911 engine with turbos on it, but to get through the emissions, they wanted to keep it naturally aspirated. They whipped the turbos back off it and did some trickery.
Time for Phil James coming up now. It's a 34.65. David Meek now on the hill in the VX220 Turbo.
Pretty, the 220s there, you know, well, they were the Elise's rival, weren't they, really?
Yeah, well, they're based on an Elise, and but they've got the VXR Vauxhall turbo engine in them, and you can just hear the turbo whooshing underneath my commentary box as uses all of that turbo power to push it towards the finish.
He heads up towards the finish. His time's coming up now. It's going to be a 34.15. Simon Tarling now on the hill in the 996 GT3.
The very, very pretty Porsche. Yeah, the 996 was the first of the old-school ones. Very rapid, about 300 horsepower. That one might have a bit more.
Yeah, these I think are slightly more towards the 360, 380 mark, but very desirable modern classic, as you say, first of the water-cooled cars, and really good steering in those, apparently.
He heads up towards the finish, waiting for the time. It's a 35.97 into the 35s. Rodney Isles now on the hill in the 4C Alfa Romeo. Pretty car.
Stunning, isn't it? That Alfa, that is stunning. Very, very rapid. 1750 turbo engine in that, and isn't that quick?
Yeah, Rodney's car's really nicely prepared. I think he's got a set of semi-slicks on it, some decent suspension, and I think he's turned the engine up to 11 on this. And as that fires itself towards the finish line and across the line now.
Time for Rodney Isles, 33.09. Now on the hill is Richard Snow in another Cayman GT4.
Yeah, I must admit, that sound. Oh, listen to this engine scream. My goodness me, coming through across the gear, blasting up towards the speed trap, through the marking post, already coming into much mess.
Absolutely, yes. You'll notice this GT4 sounds slightly different. This is the 981 variant. This has got the 3.8 engine in it. It was always meant to be a naturally aspirated engine, so it's got lots of development. Fantastic thing. 6-speed manual. Richard Snow drives the wheels off it.
He does indeed. It sounds fantastic. Time for Richard Snow, 32.85. Just 1/100th of a second slower than Robbie Burrell, who went a little earlier. Next on the hill, Robert Lancaster-Gay, that usually the man to beat in this class, in another Cayman GT4.
Yes, I've got Robert in sight. Yes, he had a white Porsche last year, didn't he? Well, actually, I think last year he bought this one, but he's starting to get to grips with this one now. It's certainly very rapid, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's been used to all the weight being at the back for years, and now it's in the middle. It's very neutral. Gets a little bit out of shape at the exit of top S, but Him and Richard Snow trading blows all weekend, every single time those two cars get together, and he gets the better.
Quick time, 32.18. Next on the hill, Peter Richings in the Toyota GR Yaris, four-wheel drive, already with you.
Yeah, well, they're very popular, the Yaris. Ian Fido's racing up in a minute as well. In one of these, they're highly desirable. Apparently, they're about, what, 240 brakes, something like that?
Oh, and the rest now they're about 285, but I can tell you from first-hand experience that they feel every single bit of 300. They are rapid little things. 3-cylinder turbo, 1.6.
Quick car heading towards the line now. It's going to be a 37.31. Ian Fido next on the hill in an almost identical Yaris, but in white.
3 cylinders, I didn't realise that. So it's a 3-cylinder turbo with nearly 280 brake. That's incredible.
Yeah, they really are, and say 7-year warranty. It's got 3 electronic differentials as well. It's a really clever bit of kit. That is, it's a definite future classic, and that's why so many were snapped up.
That one's got go faster stripes on the side, so let's see if they work. Time for Ian Fido, 36.17.
They do work.
Phil Fisher now on the hill in the Impreza. You saw it a moment ago in the hands of his co-driver.
I did indeed, yes. It's always well driven, this car, to be fair. It's surprisingly quick, isn't it, as well? Into your view, Billy.
Yeah,
Lloyd.
Yeah, no, the Imprezas, this one's slightly more road biased. You can just see it as it kind of looks a little softer than other Imprezas that we see, but no less commitment.
I'll give you the time in a minute. So we've got a monster on the hill now. Chris Beresford, 2.097 second start in the Subaru Impreza.
Yeah, very impressive car, this one. He was telling me earlier, this is over 500 brake horsepower in this Subaru, so 20-year-old car, amazing little kit.
Yeah, you can see that's quite a serious looking thing. Lots of power, you can hear it revs to the moon, and that's absolutely flying towards the finish. God, doesn't that put you back in mind of the early 2000s with the rally cars?
Time coming up now for Chris Beresford, 31.97. Tony Adams on the hill now in this wonderful sounding V6 supercharged Lotus Exige.
Yes, they're very rapid things, this one. Yeah, that sounds terrific, doesn't it? Yeah, it makes very quick progress up the hill, already through the speed trap into bottom S.
Yeah, absolutely, into my sight now. Yeah, 3.5 litre V6, Toyota derived, about 350 brake horsepower. Obviously, they don't weigh a great deal, do they, these Lotuses? But sounds fantastic, nicely through the S's and heading towards the finish.
Waiting for a time for Tony Adams. It's going to be a 35.75. Rob Lloyd now on the hill in the Westfield.
Yeah, we've got quite a few of these here today. Rob, he's from Leominster, so he's quite a local bloke. 2-litre red top engine in that one.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic. I always think a red top sounds very nice, as he just gets a little bit of wheel spin as he uses all of that power to head towards the finish.
Time for Rob Lloyd. It's coming up now. It's going to be a 34.93. Malcolm Hickey now on the hill in his Caterham 7.
Yeah, gotta love the Caterhams. It's actually Dr. Malcolm Hickey as well. He's from near Llangollen.
Yeah, fantastic. Just clips the apex slightly, takes a nice tight line through bottom S, just feeds the steering, just opens it up slightly as he puts it in the middle of the road and off towards the finish.
Waiting for the time, Richard Price is on the hill now in his Caterham 7. Time for Malcolm Hickey, 35.17. Richard Price with you.
Richard Price, always quick, very well sorted little Caterham. Had this car about 20 years too, so he's done loads to it. Wow, going into bottom S now. Oh, Lloyd.
Absolutely, yeah. It's got all the traction control, and you can hear it popping and banging as it fights the rear tyres. Really quick car, that, and you can see that as it heads towards the finish.
Heads towards the finish, and we wait for a time. Is it going to be in the 33s? Yes, it is. 33.34. Great time. Jerry Neary now on the hill in the Westfield.
Yeah, I've got Jerry now. Jerry's been competing a long time. He's got a rapid old car, and I think he might find it hard to keep up with some of these other ones. But anyway, he's certainly trying hard.
Yeah, definitely. You can just hear a little chirp of tyre squill as he locks up the front wheel slightly. No harm done as he just gets the car set up and prepared. Just gets nice and steadily on the throttle and away towards the finish.
Next off the line, Ray Lur. Really good start, 2.49 seconds, but no wheel spin at all. Just fantastic traction from Ray in the Caterham.
Yeah, making very good progress up the hill. I think David said he was an emeritus professor, I think, at Oxford.
Yeah, fantastic. Love this car. As I say, just lots of power, really beautifully driven. He's late on the power out of top S, but nice and tidy all the same. He'll head towards the finish, and he'll be across the line now.
Ray Lur does a 32.16, just half a tenth slower than this morning. John Pick now on the hill, this Subaru engined AMS Mataya.
It's actually based really on a Subaru. It came out of a WRX originally, all the running gear.
Yeah, absolutely. He's with me now. He's just turning left, turning right. This was weeping a bit of fluid. It seems to be doing the same. I don't know whether it's coming out of the exhaust, but it just seems to be I can see like droplets of water coming out the back. Strange, but hey ho. It's obviously no major issue.
Time for John Pitt, 35.13. Steve Garner now on the hill in the Westfield.
Very rapid driver, very rapid driver. This was the one that got stolen and lost for 6 years and came back as pristine as it went. He got nicked the whole trailer.
I can't get my head right. I think that's. I mean, to get that back and then just go right. Well, let's go racing again then. Fantastic. It's clearly a very serious Caterham as it fights its traction control and flicks through the sequential box and across the line.
Yeah, he was telling me that literally he built the car and it was really, really rapid and competitive. He lives in Hornchurch in Essex, and I think the car was found not far away. Anyway, and it was found underneath some sheeting. Somebody had given him a tip off. The old bill went round and they found the car.
So they found it in Essex, or
yeah, I think it wasn't far away. Yeah, I think it wasn't far away, and yeah, it was all covered up in somebody's wherever, and but anyway, the car was recovered, and I don't know what the excuse was that the new owner had said he bought it in good faith. Yeah, there we go. But he got away with it, I think. But anyway, he got his car back, so now he's got two of them.
I was going to say, I wonder what the insurance situation would be that they'd pay out. Oh, all of a sudden I've got my car back. Thank you.
That's a very valid point. But being a race car, would it have been insured?
Ooh, I don't know. It's a good one. But
you can get competition insurance if you want
it. I mean, it's got a number plate on it, so it's obviously you could be driven on the road, I suppose.
His time, by the way, was a 32.25, so a very quick time as well. And that ends the batch as well. And then I've just got two quick announcements for you. Firstly, you may have seen some people around today from Acorns, which is a local children's hospice that provides care and support for limited and life-threatened children and young people and support for their families. It's an incredible cause. They are entirely donation funded. They don't receive any government funding. And it's an incredible, incredible cause to help some children that really, really need it and their families. So if you see them around, they've got buckets around. They've been taking donations. They've also got a tent which is just before kennel, so between the start line and the first corner, where they've also got a McLaren that you can sit in for a small donation, a 720S supercar. Do give generously. It's a fantastic cause. Please do give what you can. And thank you on behalf of Acorns for your support and help today.
I can see the orange tent actually from here crossing.
That's the one.
So it's just behind the members' stand, isn't it? So,
it is.
And as you say, there was a black car there, and I wasn't sure what it was because I was walking up the track. It looked like something pretty fancy, nothing like I drive. And yeah, so that's it.
I thought it was yours, Chris.
Well, you know, obviously I've got loads of supercars. Tell you a story about supercars. I was at Lowton the other weekend, and there was a guy turned up in two supercars. His mate was driving one. He'd driven a Lamborghini Huracan there and a brand new McLaren.
Oh, wow.
And he was going to take them up the hill. He'd watched some hill climbing the previous season, really enjoyed it, thought I'm going to have a go at that. He's got a nice collection of cars as well. He's in the caravan trade actually, in East Anglia. Well, cut a long story short, he ran the McLaren up the hill, and then he wanted that one to break down so he could drive the Huracan up the hill. And the following day he was going to drive to the Isle of Man from the TT, I think, or something like that, to drive them around there.
Oh, wow.
So, and he had other nice bits of kit at home as well, including a Morris 1000 that's used in Call the Midwife, apparently.
Wow.
And he also had a car that, like Trotter's trading car as well, which he said when he used to sometimes goes to the shops, he takes that and he gets more attention driving Trotter's trading than he does driving any of the supercars.
I can believe it. The three-wheeler van.
Sounds like he never does anything nice, Chris.
Well, I tell you what, he's also got a Bentley amongst other things, but I think he finds that a bit boring probably. But who knows? But it was a lovely chap, and he's going to come again.
Oh, good.
And it's great to see, isn't it? The people with these very valuable cars think, yeah, I'm going to drive those up the hill, and I'm going to try my best, you know.
We had an event here last year. Can't remember when it was now. A supercar event here.
Was it the Piston Gin Day?
It was the Piston Gin Day. I can't remember what date it was now. But it was an absolutely brilliant day. Lots of people new to hill climbing. everybody was very actually. I think there was a little bit of nerves about people showing respect for the hill because it could go wrong quite quickly here in a big supercar, and everybody did.
Well, it was great. There was one chap I remember who had a Lamborghini Aventador SVJ.
Yes.
And all he did all day was just look for people and go, fancy riding an Aventador?
Yeah.
Jump in. And he was just taking anybody and everybody up the hill all day.
It was a fantastic day, wasn't it? Really well spirited. People got as many runs as they wanted, really. They started off with sort of batches, and then because some people say, I've had a few, I'm done, or whatever. They just let anyone run whenever they liked. It was a brilliant day. Great to get new people and new faces into hill climbing with some great cars.
Very successful day, I think, if I remember rightly. I think a lot of people came, didn't they?
It was a brilliant
Good day.
It was the YouTubers that turned up as well. I think there was Mr. JWW arrived, and TG, I think a few YouTubers turned up.
Oh, the famous YouTubers, yeah, quite beyond me.
The famous Lloyd Hackett was here.
The famous,
yes. YouTube channel. The last thing I just tell before the batch starts is, if you are, as I'm sure you are, undoubtedly having a fantastic day, why not become a member of the MAC? The MAC is the club that runs Shelsley. It's a fantastic club to be part of. Not only will you be part of the Shelsley Walsh family, but you'll also be helping to prolong the history of this wonderful event for another 120 years. You can sign up at the MAC members tent, which is just after Kennel, before crossing on the right hand side. There's a big sign which I can see that says join the MAC today on it. If you sign up today, there's a fantastic offer on price wise, which will be not just to the end of this season, but all the way through next year as well. So all the events that are available here. We've still got lots of great events this year. We've got the today and tomorrow. We've got Cars in the Valley later in August. We've got breakfast clubs. We've got the Harvest Festival meeting to see out the year. And we'll have an amazing array of events taking place next year, from Midland Hillclimb Championship events to the two national events and the Classic Nostalgia, which is the extremely popular summer historic meeting here. So please do go and sign up at the MAC tent between Kennel and Crossing. Meanwhile, Anthony Wood leads the line in front of me. We're into 1100cc single-seaters. He's with you.
He certainly is, yes. I love these single-seaters. They're incredibly rapid. A lot of these in this class are actually bike engine, aren't they?
All of them in this class.
Absolutely, yeah. So we've got Anthony just tipping it left into bottom S, tipping it right into top S, and nice and tidy, nothing too ragged, and he's heading towards the line as he feeds it the gears.
Time for Anthony Wood, 32.32, 32.32. Next off the line, Jonathan Flesher. New car to him this year, this OMS 28. He's going very well in it indeed, and he's with you.
Indeed, yes, that's a stunning looking car. OMS cars built by Steve Owen up in the north. He's here today competing as well.
Absolutely, yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful paint job on this car. Looks nice and tidy, really, really quick. Looks like he's really getting on top of it as it heads towards the finish. Nice and across the line now.
Heading towards the finish, it's a 28.96. Richard Weaver leaves the line in front of me in the Empire Evo. He's already through Kennel.
Yeah, Richard's taken to this hill climbing like a duck to water. He used to do the recovery truck. He's here with his son Tom, who'll be out in this car in a bit.
Absolutely, and it sounds like an angry wasp, this car, as it heads up the hill, as he pops and bangs under the commentary box as it flicks through the gears. Looks like he's turned the wick up on that, and he is across the line.
Time for Richard Weaver, it's 29.04. 29.04, I expect him to be well into the 28s tomorrow, weather permitting. Next off the line, it's Martin Rutter. Martin drives this lovely little Fiat X19, and he's with you.
He is indeed, yes. Competing many, many years in this one. There is another X19 comes on the hill as well, which has got a big air intake thing out the roof or out the back. Anyway, he's making his way up. He'll be doing about, let's see what he does. He does 67 through the speed trap.
Yeah, pretty little car. Just locks up a wheel by the sounds of it as he turns it into bottom S. Nice and committed. Slap bang in the middle of the road and misses a gear, unfortunately. Let's see if he's found the gear, and he's heading now towards the finish.
Well, as he heads off to the line, I'll get you the time in a minute. Andrew Russell's now on the hill in the Ginetta.
Andrew Russell been competing for many years in this little Ginetta. What an immaculate little imp engine, rear engine car that one is, and it's very, very rapid, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Absolutely, yeah. I was slightly worried then for a second that the little Fiat of Martin Russell didn't quite make it over the brow of the hill, but it has done. The Ginetta's on its way to chase it, and we will be across the line with that in just a second.
The time for Martin Rutter was a 43.59. The time for Andrew Russell was a 35.96. Now Phil Tucker on the hill in this very quick little Vauxhall Nova.
Oh my word, he is really trying to. He's really got the confidence going in this little car. Very rapid. The shell came from Monza, built it himself. What a lovely car he's built.
Yes, there'll be not a lot of rust on that then. Nice, beautifully prepared car. Just has to get out the throttle as that bank appeared towards his front corner very, very quickly. But very committed, very quick through the S sector. Sub 10 second in a front wheel drive car, that's very quick.
And it's a quick time overall, 34.10. Stuart Reid's now on the hill in the Peugeot 205.
Stuart Reid, he's here with his dad today, and I think this is dad driving. Comes from Blairgowrie in Scotland. 205, very rapid car. He has a good dice with Jock in the Manta.
Yeah, this looks really serious. Peugeot 205, probably the only car I like more than a Clio. And this one looks very, very serious. Centrally mounted exhaust, obviously a very serious gearbox in it as well. You can hear it flicking through the gears, and he's across the line.
Time for Stuart Reid, 32.51. Jock Ramsey now on the hill in the Opel Manta.
Yes, from in the programme from By Alloa, but he's from Scotland. He actually has got a few Opels at home, actually. Doesn't that look great? Old school car, brilliant.
Yeah, we were saying, I think back in the day you were either a Manta person or an Escort person, and wonderful to see a Manta being campaigned. Always a crowd favourite, especially in this orange, but passed through the S's and across the line any second now.
Time for Jock Ramsey, it's a 35.41. 35.41. Next on the hill, we've got a Porsche. It's Jonathan Williamson in the Porsche 911 Carrera, already with you.
This is another one I'd love to take out. Sounds magnificent. Listen to that 6-cylinder rear engine, air-cooled Porsche, proper bit of kit that.
Yeah, fantastic. You can hear it as it barks its way up the hill and just into the braking. Now it takes a nice tight line. Just the rear just steps out slightly, but all under control. You can see the weight moving around at the back, and he's out of top S and heading towards the finish line.
Time coming up for Jonathan Williams, it's 33.70. Andrew Norris now on the hill in the supercharged Porsche 911. You don't see many of these.
Do you know what? I've hardly seen any supercharged 911s, but my goodness me, that's got to be a very, very quick package, hasn't it?
This is the only supercharged 911 that I've ever known about. It's I know it is supercharged because you can hear it whining. Yeah. And it's a very rapid thing. No dramas. This car knows it. I bet this car could get itself up this hill on its own.
Quick driver though, Andrew Norris, at the times of 32.65. 32.65. Next on the hill in this monstrous Triumph TR7 V8 turbocharged. Huge power on tap here for Nigel Elliott. He's already through Kennel.
Good afternoon to Sam, just walking up the hill. Yes, Nigel Elliott, new shell on this car. Massive power at the Rover V8, turbocharged Rover V8. That's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's I remember seeing this car for years as I was growing up. It was an awesome car with the SO livery, bags of power, super lightweight, and this is going to be quick across the line, I think.
I'm sure it will be indeed. Yep, finishing straight. He's across the line now. It's a 35.59. 35.59. Next
what I will say though, it did look like he got a little bit out of shape over the breast.
Yeah, we've got flags.
Yeah, that like he came off the power and it just got away from him. I just saw over the crest of the hill a sideways TR7. So not ideal. I can't comment on anything because I can't see it, but I can only imagine that he's probably just had a bit of a spin at the top near the collection area and possibly found himself in the gravel trap. So we'll wait and see what happens there. Hopefully he's okay, but yeah, just looked like the car got off power and just unsettled
I can
itself.
see him, by the way.
Oh, can you?
Because I've got the cameras down here, and I think it gave people one hell of a fright in the top box, but I can just see him doing a U-turn halfway to Simon Derling's house. So in the corner of the camera, you can see the bottom of the field. It looks like he'd made it most of the way through the field, from what I can see.
He's the last person I want to see having a moment, frankly, today. I mean, after he's rebuilt the car, had a new shell in that car, and he's only had a few meets since he was at Prescott a few weeks ago. I think he's had a couple of goes there. But
so, yes, yeah. I can't see him back in shot now. I'm hoping he's about to reappear. They're turning the Paul Howells, the Porsche that had left the line. They are turning round at Kennel because he saw the red flag at Kennel and very sensibly stopped immediately, so he's doing a UE at Kennel. He'll go back down the return road and run again. And I can see a Triumph, by the way. A TR7 is now arriving into the return road top paddock in the in the correct manner.
I wouldn't have minded being a spectator at the time just to see.
Well, yes, it could have been quite spectacular. The car looks like it's okay from what I can see. He's parked it in the normal queue. In the normal queue at the top return road, and there's some of the other drivers are laughing and smiling at him, probably saying that looked exciting. Because the camera angle we've got in the top return paddock shows where they all park, and just out of sight to the left you can see the road that goes down to the Durling's house, which is across another whole field, and you could see him doing a UE halfway down that road. So I think he went quite some way.
That's quite unique, actually. That's pretty up there, isn't it?
I've not seen anyone do that before. So impressive, but most importantly, hope he is all right, and it looks like the car is too. So we're back underway. We've got Phil Goff on the hill in this rapid, slick-shod Caterham. He's already to you, or is it Westfield? It's a Caterham.
Wow, yeah. Beautiful car, this one, isn't it? I'm actually a big fan of these, and they look so much fun to drive. I'd love to drive one of them. I've never driven them.
No, they're great. They're absolutely great. You feel everything, and they're so responsive and super sensitive, which is why you can see people absolutely throwing them around because they're just completely in tune with their cars. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and he makes his way towards the finish, does the 33.25. Mike West on the hill. You've already seen this car, the Fisher Fury, but now in the hands of Mike West.
Yes, well, Mike is the clever chap that sorted the gear link set up, and Mike is one of our super god marshals, actually. You know, he's up there, this fella, in my estimation.
Absolutely, yeah, you can hear it just banging down through that said gearbox. Big stab of power between the S's, using all of the revs of that bike engine. And it's firing itself across towards the finish line.
Time for Mike West, 33.65. 33.65.
You know what, Billy? I'm getting a lovely crowd up here now. It's looking great up the hill now. Lots of people here for a Saturday. It's great.
Good-o. Well, we've got Paul Howes on the hill for his second attempt at his run. He's with you.
Yeah, spectacular Porsche, this one. What absolute beast of a Porsche. Sounds magnificent. Got to be north of 500 horsepower in that car, surely.
Yeah, it's not going to weigh an awful lot either, this thing, but it's the track of it. It's just how wide the thing is. It's amazing. Just has to get out the throttle. Looks like we've got potentially a bit of an electrical issue here. So it just cut out at the exit of top S.
Yeah, they've flagged him. We've got a flag down here at the start.
Yeah, it looked like the car sort of switched itself off. He's kind of looks like he's maybe nursing it over the finish line. I think he'll get there. Yeah, we won't need to stop. He's got it going again. But yes, it looked like the car had what you would call an electrical.
Well, we've got a small minor pause, and they've turned around the Malloch that left the line at Kennel. Very quick marshalling from the marshals here just after the start line, and the driver saw it. By the way, we've got some messages. We are actually streaming. We weren't originally going to publicise the stream today, but it's working brilliantly well, so it's gone live, and we've got a message from Really Big Kid. Hi guys, great live stream as always, watching the action from Shelsley whilst working on the car. Well,
nice.
Great to hear from you, and hopefully you'll get the car, you'll do that work and you'll be out soon. See you competing here, let's hope. Hi to all from Germany / Bavaria from a Tom Rentom.
Guten Tag.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, the stream goes out all across Europe. It's amazing where we get, and we've also got a message from a viewer in the USA, which is fantastic to see as well. The best we ever had was it was an oil rig, and I think it was in the North Sea.
Yes.
That's pretty.
Yes.
That's
We're watching from there.
Well, I'll tell you who will be watching is young Chris Druitt, because as you know, he's indisposed currently.
Yes,
He's one of our very regular commentators. In fact, he usually mans Vauxville, doesn't he? He's our main man. And yeah, good afternoon, Chris, if you're watching. We hope you're feeling a little bit better today. And we'll obviously be joining you again tomorrow, where you can watch all the action.
Indeed. So we've got flags just coming in down here, and next on the line will be David Bickley, Stuart's dad, I believe. You can tell it's a Bickley Motorsport car because the turning vanes, the dive planes on the front, splitter on the front bodywork are bright green. Which
They love their greens.
they
don't
do.
They love, actually, well, Stuart's here, of course, isn't he, in his fourth later on, and well, he's an incredibly rapid driver this year, isn't he?
Yeah, knew that car to him, and he's just going fantastically well in it. Really is. It's an 1100cc Force. It's a PT, the latest Force of Ian Dayson's creation, and there's those chassis are just going really well. The Coopers have got one; they go very well, and Einon Price has got one. Darren Gumley, they go really well, and Stuart's doing fantastic things in the 1100cc class, and it's great to see.
Who's going to be? He's a likely contender, isn't he, for Kenrick's record? If anyone can beat it, Stuart might have a chance.
I don't know. That car was just. I don't know if it's going to be. I hope so. I do hope so, but we shall see. You never know. Next on the hill, we've got. This is David Bickley in the little SR1 Radical 1300cc.
Yes, I've got him now. Yeah, the Radical just looks built for the part. They are brilliant little race cars. These great little cars into your sight.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think is this 1000cc in this one, Billy? I think
1300.
1300. Okay, yeah. So I assume some sort of high booster powered
It is indeed.
unit. Lovely, and yeah, using all of that to get towards the finish.
And he's across the line. Time is 32.24. Next on the hill, Robin Nicholson, second driver in this lovely Mallet Mark 20.
Pretty, yes. I am a massive fan of the Mallets. They've produced so many cars over the years. This is sort of mid-term, I should say, on the Mallet front, perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's an amazing line it takes through the S's. It's almost like it's about to oversteer itself into the opposite bank, and then it just flicks itself back around and heads towards top S. Amazing.
Time for Robin Nicholson, 30.35. Next on the hill, Andrew Burt in his second attempt at his third run after he had to stop previously.
Yeah, got him in sight now, Andrew. Yes, indeed. Yes. I'm don't know too much about that car, but making very good progress up the hill, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as it turns in, nice line through bottom S, nice and tight towards the bank between the two, and then nice and smoothly out of top S and heading towards the finish.
The time for Andrew Bird as he crosses the line is a 32.37. Next on the hill in the supercharged Force LM is Mike Lee. This is a quick car.
Yeah, it is actually. That is an interesting bit of kit, isn't it? Wow, yeah, it looks the part. Oh, yeah. All that enclosed bodywork at the back there over near the rear wheels. That's unusual, isn't it, that?
Absolutely, yeah. It heads into my sight, just having a couple of bites of the cherry as it finds the apex of bottom S, just clatters the drain cover as he heads out of top S, uses all of that supercharged power to get him across the line.
Time for Mike Lee, 30.96, 115 across the line. That's a very quick car indeed.
Loud car as well. It must be one of the loudest here.
Quick car. So it's a similar. It's built by Ian Dayson, similar sort of wider tub to the Force PT, but it is a sports car because the wheels are enclosed. So that's why you've got, for example, the front mud caps on the top of the wheel. The front used to have full front bodywork, but I think they decided it was lighter and better aero if they took that off.
How old is it then, Billy?
I expect that car's probably 10 years old now, maybe.
Oh, as old as that? That's interesting,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I think Mike usually he built a couple. Ian built a couple, and I think Mike usually competes at Gersten, if that's the car I'm thinking of. I'll have to go and ask him, but yeah, he doesn't do the national championship, but it's good to see that car out.
I've not seen much of it, but it tell you what, it's a very rapid bit of kit. Comes all the way from Cornwall, Saltash, isn't it? So it's a long way.
Yes, yeah, which is why I think he usually does Gersten, because it's, apart from Wiscombe, it's the first one you get to.
He probably goes to Wiscombe, yes, because I don't know if he was there. I can't remember seeing him a couple of weeks ago.
I thought he was there. I thought he was quite close battle with Alan McDonald, if I remember correctly.
Well, Alan's here today, isn't he?
He is indeed.
Yeah, he didn't get an entry initially, but he's got an entry now, so that's great to see.
It is indeed. Next, coming up to the start line, there was a slight delay because unfortunately the little Lola with the Porsche engine in the back seemed to have an issue, so is now parked in that little refuge area to the side of the start line. So the Lola's been pushed out of the way, and on the line we have the Zolf GT of Mike Luck, 2.3 litre Ford engine in the front. Lovely little car this, already to you.
Wow, yeah, that is so pretty actually, and it's such a unique car. They were built in Redditch, weren't they? And they had high hopes for them, really. I think it was some of the ex-Lotus designers or something. Anyway, what a pretty car. Onto your way there, Lloyd.
Well, so that's the second best thing to ever come out of Redditch after me. So it's through the S's and away towards the finish, but going really well.
Time for Mike Luck, 30, just waiting for the time, 33.8. Oh, Bob Penrose on the hill now in the monstrous Pilbeam.
He certainly is, yeah. Bob from Sully down in South Wales. We were talking about fishing in the paddock earlier, but we should have been talking about his car. But there is a Porsche coming for next year, by the way.
Interesting. Well, this thing is just a monster, isn't it? It is just so brutal. It heads across the line now, but wonderful.
It is indeed. Time for Bob Penrose, 33.92. Next off the line, this is a really quick car. This is Duncan Barnes in the turbocharged Honda-powered Norma. He's already passed me, popping and banging into Kennel, into your view.
Unbelievable bit of kit, these Normas. They absolutely dominate European hill climbs, longer hill climbs than ours. Duncan actually does a lot of work with Wallace Mingus as well.
Yeah, this is a fantastic car, this. Lots of power in it, just sort of gets out the throttle slightly just as the car gets a little bit upset under the commentary box, but he's across the line already.
Time for Duncan Barnes, 28.13. He was in the 27s this morning, so I expect more time to come out of that car tomorrow. Next on the line, we've got the Force, incredible supercharged Force of Alan McDonald, the SR4. He's already passed me into the first corner now.
Yes, Alan, fantastic guy. He comes from Scotland. He's raced at the TT on motorbikes as well. Remember he had that Mini with the Mitsubishi running gear last year, and now he's got this.
Yeah, he certainly knows his way up here, that's for sure. As the car pops and bangs and fights its traction control, as it beautifully executes top S, and he's across the line already.
And it's a 29.74 into the 29s. Well done, Alan. 29.74. Quick time. And across the line, 121, so very quick car. Next off the line, Graham Wynn in the Gould GR59, 4-litre Judd. He's with you.
He certainly is. Wow, look, he is absolutely rustling up the hill in this cold. Sharing this, of course, with Scott Moran, but Graham owns this car. Graham Wynn MBE, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and he's beautifully through the S's there. The car, again, just unleashing all of that 700 horsepower, flicking through the gears. He's across the line.
Good time, 25.28, 25.28. Good time from Graham there. There could be a 24 in that car and driver combination tomorrow.
We've already had times in the 23s today, haven't we? Alex Summers was 23s. Who else? Was anyone else?
23 and a half, Will Hall, was it?
Will Hall was, and quickest so far was Matt Ryder, who did 23.2. So I think we had
23.2. Yeah, that's pretty smoky because the hill record, what's that? 20 in the 22s, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, low 22s. So still about a second to find, but very quick indeed. We also had, so yes, Matt Ryder did a 23.2.
22.74 at the moment for Alex Summers in the DJ is the hill record. So 22.74, Matt Ryder.
I think the hill record's Mr. Gould's actually.
22.37.
Yeah, 22.37. So that's a pretty quick time indeed.
That was last year, wasn't it? Was it the year before?
Year before. Was it the year before?
What was the one where the record fell 4 times in a row?
That was it.
It was 3.
Yeah,
that was the meeting.
Yeah, that was incredible.
That's the only one I missed. That's the only year I've missed for like 5 years.
Good choice.
That was the best first runoff I have ever witnessed. I was up by the speed trap there. Wasn't commentating, photography, put the cameras down to watch that. It was just, they went quicker and quicker and quicker, and hill records just falling like flies. Just incredible. Whether it could happen tomorrow, who knows? Wouldn't it be wonderful?
Yes, let's see. I hope so. But you've got to... It was a special day that. You don't get days like that very often, do you? But let's hope it can happen again tomorrow, as you said. Sadly, the Lola Porsche is being wheeled away, so it looks like that car has an issue. Hopefully fixable for tomorrow.
Well, Graham's a clever chap, so it could well fix it, hopefully.
It might. I don't know why Graham Wynn just ran out of batch. Did he miss his second run? Maybe.
I don't know, but I do remember that when those hill records were going, Martin Groves was by the middle crossing, the middle marshal post, and he was watching, and he was thrilled to bits to see those records go, even though he'd held them for so long.
Yeah, he was with David Gould. as well, which was nice
wonderful.
to watch.
Wonderful.
Watch the record fall. Yes, so I don't know why Graham Wynne just ran, because he'd usually be in the next batch. So I don't know if he missed his second practice run, and as such, got his second one just then. So we'll see. But the batch makes its way back down the hill, and we await to see. By the way, 157 miles an hour over the finish for Graham Wynne just then.
That's pretty up there, isn't it? That's incredible, isn't it?
Which is breathtaking, really. So next batch, what do we expect? Well, we're going to see the first of the 1600cc cars, so the dual-driven 1600cc cars, the dual-driven 2-litre cars, and then we're going to see the bulk of the 1100cc class, and also the Formula Fords as well. So a nice batch to come next.
We got a glut of single-seaters, haven't we now? Absolute glut of them, which is fantastic. I love them.
Yeah, so exactly that. 1600cc, 2 litres, and 1100s to come. I think tomorrow's going to be interesting. Well, we don't know what the weather's going to do tomorrow, so let's assume it's dry. I think you're going to need to be into the 24s to qualify, or at least the very low 25s.
I think it's going to be dry tomorrow. It's
you do realise now whose fault it is if it isn't.
Lloyd, you have spoken now. That's it. That's the fatal
Having
word.
said that, it said it was going to rain today.
Ladies and gentlemen, our scapegoat for tomorrow's bad weather, Lloyd Hackett, has joined us in the commentary box.
Thank you. Absolutely, absolutely.
Lloyd, the weatherman, yeah. Lloyd. Well. I tell you what, I was chatting to Alex Summers before lunch, and he's really pleased with how that car is performing now. They've really got it flying, haven't they?
Yeah, he had a bit of a tricky start to the year, didn't he? But he looks like last few rounds he's kind of getting it together a bit more now.
And he is very, very rapid here. And I'll tell you what, this young fellow Matt Ryder's doing rather well at the moment, isn't he? He's a little dark horse, isn't he, to win it?
He's not slow at all, Matt Ryder, in that car.
So I'm looking at the...
And also the boss, Sean Gould. He's rapid.
Pretty quick as well.
He's had a fantastic year this year. He's been really, really good, hasn't he? His shoulder seems to have healed up a bit, and he's really got the bit between the teeth this year.
Yes, indeed. It's going to be a good day tomorrow, I expect. So I'm just looking at the view of the start as we await the return of the batch. I've seen most of the cars go back past now, so I think we should be almost ready to bring flags in. And
still a couple yet. The yellow Porsche is just coming down past the speed trap, so not quite there yet, but won't be long.
Excellent. And the first two cars I can see awaiting us are the Cooper Force and the Greenan Empire. So two pretty quick cars to get us going. And then in the return batch, we've just got the second drivers stepping out of their 1100s to make way for their other driver. So first car we're expecting to the line will be Liam Cooper in the Force TA. Good to see Liam out, actually. Had a bit of an off at Wiscombe a couple of weeks ago, and the car required a new steering rack, but Ian Dayson at Force managed to get that fixed. They got the car back yesterday, so it's great to see that car here this weekend after it was looking slightly doubtful after a weekend off. And it's also great to see the Mingus Uren Gould here as well. We didn't expect to see that. It's got a new gearbox to that car in it after the previous gearbox gave up the ghost when we were here in June, just as Ningala was about to take the start of her runoff run, which was heartbreaking to watch. But great to see that car fixed and back.
Absolutely. We've got the final car on its way back down the hill, which is the pirouetting TR7, which is just making its way slowly back down the hill after what can only be described as a small off.
A moment.
The off he had at Lowton, the previous car, was a big off, a very big off. So I'm quite pleased to see him pootling back down the hill. The car looks relatively intact. In fact, I can't see any damage on it. So that's great news. So yeah, he's just coming past my box now.
Yeah, I think you had to get your binoculars out to see how far across the field he'd gone. So that was very impressive at the top of the hill just then. but no harm, no foul.
Gone where no man had been before.
We've just got a message on the stream from a chap called Riccardo Prosperi, stuck at home with man flu. This is the best thing I could hope for. Well, get well soon, Riccardo.
Feel your pain.
You don't have man flu.
No, I know, but I've had it.
Oh, right.
I've recently had my one illness a year.
Well, that's nice.
And I'm pleased I cashed that in just before this weekend. So.
Excellent. So, yes, we are awaiting the course car, which is just returning now. So flags are coming in, so I expect that we will be getting going momentarily with batch 4. So 1600cc cars, 2-litre cars and 1100s, followed by the Formula Fords.
Billy, I've got a question.
Shoot.
Gould, GR59J, GR59M and GR59JB. What's the difference?
I don't know. I don't know if the M stands for Mingus or not.
Oh,
and the J is Judd.
Gotcha.
I think that's what the M stands for, but I don't know.
Fair enough.
The J is Judd. Right, we've got a car on the line. It is Liam Cooper in the 1600cc Hayabusa-powered Force TA. Just awaiting the light now. Visor down. Builds up the revs. Off the line in front of me. Good start from Liam. Buries the throttle into the floor of the car. He's away through Kennel. 2.2 second start.
Stunning, yeah. Great to see the car back out. Great to see Liam. He'll be having a close battle with his wife Olivia, and he's already into bottom S.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a beautifully driven car by the pair of them. Both Liam and Olivia drive this car immaculately, and they continue to do so through the S's and already nearly across the finish line.
Working his way up the finishing straight. Time for Liam Cooper, 28.19. 28 into the 28, into the low 28. So that's a good time from Liam. We've got a flag. I don't know why. I think there was something just being checked at Kennel. The marshal just had a look. I don't know if there was a bit of debris or something, but the marshal was returned to post. So I suspect we'll see the flag coming in just a minute. Next on the line, we've got the red OMS of Neil Coles, another 1600cc Hayabusa powered car. All of the cars in the 1600cc class are Hayabusa powered, with the exception of William Luftbridge, who's got the 1 litre turbocharged powered Empire, and I don't know if that is a Suzuki or a Kawasaki, so I'll have to go and find out. But everybody else is basically running Hayabusa powered chassis. Flags are in at... Oh no, flags are not in yet. We're just waiting.
Yeah, marshals are still across the track, aren't they, at Kennel? But Neil Coles, sharing with his son Alex, who's been going very well in that car, they've had to have a rebuild on that Hayabusa because I think there was a problem with it at Lowton. It went pop.
Oh, did it?
But anyway, I think they're back in the game, and that's good news.
They're just looking at the back of the... I can see from the stream. They're just looking at the back of the Force of Liam Cooper in the top paddock. So I don't know if it dropped some liquid or not. So they're just having a look to see if there was some fluid dropped, because I think that's what the marshal spotted at Kennel. So we shall see. Yeah,
the marshals are still in the middle of the track at Kennel, and the course car's just coming back down, so maybe they're bringing some of that gravelly stuff, soak it up.
Yes, I don't know what it is. Hopefully it's nothing. And hopefully, if it is something, it's not all the way up the hill.
Yeah, I can't see it on the track in front of me.
I can't see it. I couldn't see anything leaking in front of me. There was no spray, vapour, anything coming from the back. But obviously better to be safe than sorry.
Well, they've clearly spotted something, because they are getting a tub out of the pickup truck, and they are putting some drying agent down on the road. Just a cupful of that, and they're rubbing it in now. So there's a small line. What's interesting is it seems to be in one very specific space. because they're only rubbing a little bit of it in. It's only on a very small patch of the of Kennel. It's slap bang in the middle of the road, so hopefully cars can straddle it. Right on the exit.
Yeah, they're jumping back into their truck. They're just pulling their truck in now. So, oh yeah, I can see where they put the stuff down. Yeah.
Very
so,
small, very specific point though.
It is a very specific point. I had leaky LHM fluid on my drive from my Citroen when it decided to spring a leak, right, when I had my Citroen. LHM fluid, and unfortunately I didn't really clear it up very well at the time, but it's been bothering my missus, so I had to go and buy some cat litter the other day, try that out. Didn't work at all well, actually. It's still like a horrible stain there. Then I was told to put Coca-Cola on it. Well, that's the next thing I've got to try. Anyone experienced in that? Have you ever tried anything like that, Billy?
Never. What's LHM fluid?
Oh, sorry. LHM fluid is what they run in the old hydraulic Citroens.
Oh,
you've
got an old, like a Dizzy, have you?
Well, it was a Xantia.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when it leaked, it was this green mineral oil, basically.
Well, I've never heard of how you clean that up. That's very.
Yeah,
if anyone's watching
it
on the stream that knows how to clear up Citroen, you never know, that knows how to clear up Citroen HM fluid, please do drop us a message. It'd be very handy.
I get terrible grief from my missus about it, so I really would be appreciative. But I've got to try this Coke on it next, because Coke dissolves most things, doesn't it, including teeth?
Yes, exactly that. So we've got the flag is. Did I hear a whistle? No, I can still. Yes, I can see a flag coming in at Kennel. And the start line. So, hello everybody in the paddock watching, by the way. The paddock has got a big screen in it. This is interesting. So the camera on the stream is currently pointing at a TV screen with the camera on the screen on it. So we're going to end up with a kind of Russian doll TV effect going on. But hello everybody in the paddock, drinking a nice beer from the bar, watching proceedings. Right, we have got the flags in. We've got Neil Coles on the line in the OMS 28. Car has refired. He's off the line in front of me. Good start from Neil. It's 2.39 seconds. He's into Kennel.
Yes, he's the first one to go through the kitty litter, whatever we call it, flying up the straight, sparks off the back of it, into bottom S.
Absolutely, yeah, and he flashes into my sight, takes a nice tidy line there, nice and tight to the bank. One turn of the wheel to get him through top S, just gets a little wiggly on the way out, but he hasn't lost any time, and he'll head across the line now.
Time for Neil Coles, 27.79. Paul Jones next on the hill. Quick start, 2.03 seconds, sorry.
Yes, Paul Jones sharing with Rob Anscombe. This belongs to Rob Anscombe, and Paul is a regular driver in this car. They're big mates, and he's going through the speed trap into bottom S.
Absolutely, yeah. Paul's been used to his bright orange Lotus Exige in recent times, but he's making the switch to a single-seater this year, and he's really getting used to it, nice and tidy through the S's. What can he do across the line?
We'll see. Hang on to your hats. Adam Greenham's on the hill. He's past me and gone.
And flying. My goodness, these Greenham brothers can go sparking all the way up the hill into bottom S.
Right, what's he going to do now that I'm not expecting? Big sideways moment. I was expecting that, and he's nice and tidy. He's actually not gone sideways under the commentary box for a change, and he heads and bangs and pops across the finish line now.
He's across the line. It's a 26.44 for Adam Greenham. Time for Paul Jones was a 29.22. Alan Warburton now on the line in the Gould Jar 59. He's off the line, he's past me, he's up into Kennel and turns left and out of my sight.
Oh, indeed. I believe you're staying with the Warbies tonight, aren't you? So anyway, yes, Alan absolutely flying up the hill. He'll be up with David and his son later on.
Absolutely, yeah, such a quick car on rails, as we've said already. Really quick little spurt of power. It's like a Scalextric's car through the S's. It's so quick, banging through the gears, slap bang in the middle of the road and across the line.
Time for Alan Warburton, 27.44. Andrew Colburn now on the hill in the Formula Island Van Diemen.
Yes, what a pretty little car this one is. There's two of them driving it today, father and son. I'm not sure which one that one. Oh, this is Dad. Anyway, fair Formula Island car, 2-litre engine and then Renault engine, isn't it?
Could be. It's a quick thing, but it sounds fantastic, nice and tidy. Rides the bumps beautifully through top S, and he's heading across towards the finish line.
Time for Andrew Colburn, 30.11. Anime Furnace on the hill. Great to see Anime back hill climbing in the Swallow.
Yeah, fantastic. And Ollie is driving this one as well. Come on, Anna, great. Yes, this is a big experience, a big step up, she was saying, and a big single-seater, really. Yeah, good luck to her.
Absolutely, yeah. You were saying that she was struggling with the gears earlier, just obviously making sure that she's going to get fourth gear up the straight rather than second as she changes from third. Little bit of a delay. Yeah, just struggling with the gearbox again, but she'll get on top of it, no doubt, and across the line.
Time for Anna May Furness, 34.11. Trisha Davis on the hill now in the 2-litre V8 powered Force.
Yes, it is. New car to them this year, isn't it? Terry Davis engine in the back, built by hubby, into your sight.
Yeah, absolutely delicious car this is. It really is. The noise it makes is fantastic. Just nicely through top air, slap bang in the middle of the road, and we're across the line. We have got some spit.
Trisha Davis does a 30.28. Nicola Dearden on the hill now in the Gould Dallara 2-litre engine in the back.
Yes, actually, well-driven car. It's gone very quickly this year. The engine's been rebuilt, and they're certainly enjoying their hill climbing. Andrew is up later on in this car, and over to you, Lloyd.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'd just advise anybody down at the start line or the paddock, just be mindful it is actually raining at the top of the hill. So whether you've got that, I don't know. Whether it's made much of a difference to the track, I don't know, but it is coming down a little bit.
Well, we'll see. 33.70 for Nicola. Robin Wood now on the hill in his Force PT, already through Kennel.
Yeah, pretty little car, that Force. The Force is a very effective little hill climb car, isn't it? Anyway, over to you, Lloyd.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, with me now. Just takes a bit of curb through bottom S, avoids the drain cover beautifully, gets it straight in the middle of the road, straightened up and heading towards the finish.
Robin Wood does a 20... No, it's a third... We're just waiting for the time. 31.20. Dylan Flesher now on the hill in the OMS. He goes very quickly in his car.
Wow, yeah, he is absolutely flying. He was so close to the barriers there, coming out of crossing into bottom S.
Yeah, loads of commitment from Dylan. Big load of opposite lock. He really gets very close to the bank there, almost touches it, flicks up a load of dust. That's the closest anybody's been to that bank without clouting a rear wheel.
Very committed run. 27.86 from Dylan in these conditions is very impressive. Stuart Bayliss now on the hill in the Little Jedi.
Yeah, I like the Little Jedi. You remember when some of them used to have 600cc engines, and most of them are running 1100s now. So, yeah, the Little Jedi, very pretty, very effective car.
Absolutely, yeah. It flashes into sight, nice little turn into bottom S, just clips the drain cover nicely, gets the rear wheel spun up as he gets back on the power and heading it towards the finish line.
Time for Stuart Bayliss. He's across the line. It's a 31.85. Martin Turner now on the hill in the Empire Evo 2.
Yes, the Empires. Oh, yes, this is the ex-Greenham's car from last year. Now they've moved up. Yeah, it was very effective in their hands and also in Martin's hands.
Absolutely, yeah. Great looking car, this beautiful colour scheme, really like it. Nicely through the S's. Accelerating off towards the finish, no problem.
Time for Martin Turner as he crosses the line. It's a 30.20. Gavin John McLaren is now on the hill in the OMS 2000M, another 1100cc car.
Indeed, early OMS this one, and it's had one or two issues this year, but it's going very well now.
Yeah, certainly. You can really hear no shortage of commitment. Nice stab of power as it grabs hold of the wheel and flings it through top S and heading towards the finish line now.
Time for Gavin John McLaren, 29.32. Richard Walker now on the hill in the OMS CF04.
Yeah, the OMSs are very popular here today, aren't they? Built by Steve Owen up in the north, making great progress, great hill climb cars.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can see Richard just with me now, just spins up a wheel as he gets on the power between the S's and just manages that, modulates that throttle and gets himself hard back on the power, feeds it the gears and across the line.
Up towards the finish across the line, 31.93. 31.93. Next on the line, we've got another OMS. We've got the 3000M. The car of Nigel Pitt. The sort of next descendant, if you will, of the 2000M. So this car is still space framed with carbon fibre cladding. It's off the line in front of me. He goes very well indeed. 2.23 second start as he gets to Kennel.
Well, I think you'd call Nigel a quick local. He is always in triad, makes a lovely line through crossing, through the middle of the track, up through the speed trap to you.
Yeah, Nigel Pitt's very distinctive car, that grey over green chassis, fantastic car control as he exits top S, slightly sideways, not losing any time, and he's across the line.
Time for Nigel Pitt, 27.96. Richard Summers in the DJs now on the hill.
Richard himself, a very capable driver. Son Alex will be driving the Firestorm later on. Richard is a very good driver into bottom S.
Absolutely, yeah, with me now as he just turns into bottom S, gives it a splurt of power, and he just heads towards the side, near the bank, but he's absolutely flying and he's heading towards the finish line now.
Time for Richard Summers, 27.99. Mark Schlanker now on the hill in his force. He goes very quickly in this car here.
Yes, he does indeed. Yes, this is a nicely put together little car. He's a regular competitor, very quick local driver from Stourbridge.
Absolutely, yeah, looks really pointy this car. It gets very close to the bank, just has a bit of an understeer moment, but doesn't lose too much time, but he's across the line now.
Time for Mark Schlanker, 28.53. 28.53. It was spitting with rain at the start line when you said it was, Lloyd. It's now stopped. It's no longer spitting here.
It is, and it has started spitting again at the top.
You and your spitting. Yeah, I'm not going to let you talk about this.
We've got hoods up and umbrellas up.
Well, we've got a car on the hill. It's Tom Weaver, who's going very well in this Empire this year. He's already with you.
He certainly is. Yeah, flying Tom from Ludlow, son of Richard. Yes, he's certainly got the hang of this little Empire. They're loving it. Over to you, Lloyd.
Yeah, fantastic. I think if I was going to have a single seater, I think I'd be partial to an Empire. They look fantastic and they stick to the road just like Tom's done there. Really quick through the S's and he's across the line.
Time for Tom Weaver, 28.94. 28.94. Stuart Bickley now on the hill in the Force TA. Class winner last time we were here. Very fast driver.
Hold on to your hat, Stuart Bickley. You won't miss him coming. Look at that, sparking up through. Brilliant young driver into bottom S. Wow, going flying.
Yeah, Stuart Bickley certainly up there in the commitment stakes with the Brennans, that's for sure. And he's absolutely had to get out the throttle slightly as the car just drifted towards the bank, but didn't lose much time. He's across the line.
Time for Stuart Bickley, 27.59. 27.59. Impressive, given it is spitting with rain. Carol Nichols now on the hill.
Yes, Carol Nichols.
Ford.
Yes, in a Nike that's built by her father many years ago. She's such a regular competitor, brilliant supporter. Unfortunately, she copped the rain by the look of it.
Yeah, I would describe it as probably, yeah, it's that light kind of fine rain, you know, so that soaks you through. But I think that will start. I think that will start to affect the track conditions leaving top S if it stays like this for much longer.
Peter Kay's joined us for commentary there. Fine rain soaks you through. Anyway, David Owen's also on the hill, and his Merlin Formula Ford.
Yeah, David's gone by me, and he'll be followed by Les Buck just leaving the line.
And that just went very sideways there. You probably saw from your on the live stream there, Billy. So yes, you can see there, exit of top S starting to get pretty slippy now.
So the Formula Fords all run on treaded tyres because that's what we had to run in the day. So less of a tyre decision to make. We'll see what everyone does later.
It's strange, but it's probably still not wet, is it? But it's just slippy. It's just a bit slippy.
It looks quite wet across the valley, looking down. Anyway, I see I've got Charlie Riley coming by me, another Formula Ford. Nice little batch of Formula Fords, actually. I think they're pretty drivable in these conditions.
Yes, they are, but they're coming thick and fast. I think they were trying to get to the top before the hill gets too wet. So we've already got Paul Morecambe on the hill in the Merlin, just leaving the start line below me now.
Yeah, you can really tell that Charlie Riley's struggling to put the power down at leaving top S as well. So it is getting slippy.
Yeah, I've got Paul Morecambe in sight now. This is an immaculately turned out Formula Ford, regular competitor this year. I've seen quite a lot of him. And I think he was racing a Westfield or a Caterham before.
Paul into bottom S, struggling with the wet though, Lloyd. I think it's just getting greasy.
Yeah, greasy's the perfect word, Billy. Yeah, it is getting a bit greasy. If the Formula Fords, which do run on the thin tyres, but they're not hugely powerful, they are spinning up the rear wheel, so it is getting tricky, I would say.
Sarah Bosworth just left the line in front of me in the Van Diemen RF85. Class leader from this morning's runs, but she'll have to take it steady in these conditions. She's with you.
Yeah, Sarah is a very rapid driver indeed. Holds class record. She holds a class record from when she used to be racing the Lotus Exige, I believe.
Yes, and just sliding just round bottom S, just taking it steady, feeling for the track conditions. You can just see that the drivers know that it is starting to get a little bit wet now, so I think they're taking a little steadier. Caroline
Ryder also on the hill in the Van Diemen RF86.
Yeah, she was sharing with Sarah Bosworth. In fact, Matt Ryder's mum on the hill actually. So yeah, but she's herself an instructor and very capable driver.
Absolutely, doesn't sound like she's too phased by the rain, by the entrance into bottom S. I don't think she's phased at all by the rain, to be honest. Absolutely flying through still and leaving the commentary box, and she'll be across the line any second now.
Time for Caroline Ryder is a 39.51. Wow, that's impressive. That's about 3 seconds quicker than Sarah, who is leading the class on times from this morning. So Caroline judged those conditions fantastically well. So that concludes the batch.
Great driving, actually. That was a.
It was very, very beautifully driven. It really was.
It really was. She just got on with it, didn't she? She thought, I'm not slowing up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, amazing. Well done to her.
So the cars will now return down the hill. I'll give you the times just so you know, because I didn't Formula Ford. Sarah Bothsworth did a 42.53, and her fastest from this morning was in the 34s. Paul Morecambe did a 44.69. David Owen a 38.72. So you can tell from the cars that came at the beginning of the batch to the end of the batch, the conditions really did start to deteriorate. It's raining still at the start line here. They're just, I can see in the distance, they're pushing the Moran Win 59 back to the paddock, probably to change for wets. It depends on what the weather's going to do tomorrow, really. If you wanted a run to see what the car's like in greasy conditions, now's your chance. But if you think it's going to be dry or you just don't want to risk it, I reckon there'll be some cars that don't run. It's practice. It's greasy. I think there will be some cars that decide that discretion is the better part of valour on their last run of the day, which is a shame because it does kind of look like this weather's setting in a bit from what I can see. Lloyd, what can you who's top box? Lloyd, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm top box.
Eye in the sky, what's happening?
It's okay. So weather report. So fine rain across the valley. I can see. Well, I say not across the valley, across the finish line, across towards the finish. I've got like a line of sight where I can see half of two fields across. It looks like from the right, looks like it's coming in a bit of grey cloud. It looks like it's going to get worse before it gets better, this rain. But having said that, from the maps, it should only last about 15 minutes. So fingers crossed, we should have a bit of dryness later. But we are getting towards the end of it, and like you say, is discretion the better part of valour. So it's strange. It's not supposed to actually hit us, judging by my map, but quite clearly it is raining. But it's that sort of rain where if it stops now or stops in the next few minutes, it'll be dry again in 10 minutes. So what do you do? What do you do, Billy? If you're sat on the start line right now, do you keep your slicks on and just go steady? What do you do?
Wheel my car back into its garage and get out. Honestly, I think I'd be tempted to do that. I don't see what.
Yeah,
there's not much to be learned unless you've never done a run up Greasley Shelsley, and then it's a good thing. But it's just tricky, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, cars are coming back down now with like shiny tyres.
Water on them.
You can just see water on them, shiny tyres, and
I don't know. I just think if you're in the championship, is it a risk you need to take? That's my take.
And it is actually properly raining now as well, because I can hear it bouncing off the commentary roof, so I'm sure you'll have that any second now.
So there may be some people that want a bit of wet weather experience, but it's not fully wet. I'm definitely putting wets on, I think, or at least cut slicks. You can, in hill climbing, you can cut your own slicks if you want to. There's no rules on tread patterns or anything like this, so a lot of people have a sort of an intermediate.
Yes.
Sometimes you see them run wets on the front and dries on the rear, dries on the front, wets on the rear.
It'll certainly be very interesting because I can see some brightness trying to poke through. So it's like this cloud's going to be gone in 10 minutes, and then
I mean,
sun might come out.
Yes, you've got 2 more batches of practice, and then you've got the final or the second timed runs for the one-day meeting. I think it'll be game, set, and match in the one-day meeting. I suspect people won't improve. Unless
I'm with you again, boys.
The weather comes out.
Just been chatting to my friends, the Sarkers, and interesting one that when the track's like this, the full wets really only work when it's really standing water, doesn't it?
They will work in this. They'll go off. They'll get hot, but they'll work. And I don't know.
And also the slicks will still grip even when it's like this, won't they? Because of the softness of the rubber.
That's true, and if you can get the heat in them. I don't know if it's me. Well, let's see. The flags are in, and I can't see a car.
Yeah, well, I mean,
There's
possibly.
put it this way, no one's charging to the start line. So I don't know who we're going to see next, if I'm honest, because
Do you think any will decline their run?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, could well happen, couldn't it?
I don't know if you could hear us when you were off mic, but I think there'll be some people that decide not to run, especially if you're a second driver in a car that's competing for the championship. I think you might not, but we'll see.
Yeah,
see.
well, you wouldn't blame them, and given the value of some of these cars, the fact it is only practice, and tomorrow the forecast is looking promising for a much better day, in theory. Okay, it's not bad today, we've been a bit unlucky. Yeah, but this is exactly what was predicted. But to be fair, I can see areas of blue in front of me. I don't know what you can see up there, Lloyd.
Well, the areas of blue that you're seeing is what we had 20 minutes ago. If you can't see behind you, and I'm looking at what's coming towards us, because I'm facing the opposite way to you, obviously. So I'm looking behind you, and I'm seeing grey come towards me.
Also,
So-
I was just shown a camera shot of the paddock, and you know, in the area where they all queue up to come up the hill.
Yes.
I'm looking at it now. Thank you, Rich, in the production studio, but there is no car in the queue.
Nobody's queuing.
No.
Nobody wants to come and
Nobody
play.
wants to come and play. I mean, don't get me wrong, they'll be having to change tyres, and that's probably easy to do in the garage, but currently, nobody wants to come and play. So whilst we wait for a car,
Hang on 1 second. I've just got a visit from the Acorn charity. Hang on a
good.
minute. Yep, I'm gonna try and find some money out. But yes, so good. Yes, to support the Yellow Acorn charity, you'll see them coming up and down the hill. For your local children's hospice, acorns.org.uk. Brilliant. They've got the tent down there as well, haven't they? Where there's a supercar park down there, isn't there? Fantastic. Go and visit them on your way down. Even if you can manage £1, they'd absolutely love it. They'd be really appreciative. They're doing a brilliant job. Thanks, guys. See you later. Thanks again.
I was wondering, Billy, would you like to play the game that I mentioned about this morning? You know, where online, where Sebastian Vettel named every single Formula One driver that won the championship all the way back to like the 50s. It's doing the rounds at the minute on social media. He basically talks back through every single world champion, and he gets it. He absolutely nails it. I was wondering if you could do it with the British Hillclimb Championship. If you can hear me, that is. If you're even still there.
Has Billy left the building?
He's left the building. Maybe he doesn't want to play. Maybe he doesn't want to play.
Maybe
Sorry,
Billy's going to find out.
I've
perhaps.
just gone to put my wet tyres on. No, sorry, what was the question?
So, you know, we were mentioning this morning about how Sebastian Vettel online,
Yes.
there's a video going around of his knowledge. He's actually a driver that knows everything about Formula One, and he names every single driver backwards through the championship, and he absolutely nails it back to the 50s.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you could do that with the British Hillclimb Championship.
It's tricky.
Go
I
on,
could get-
have a go.
Well, everyone's listening.
Tell you what, I'll give you a simple question, Billy.
Yeah.
Right. You come from a famous racing family, don't you?
Yes.
Oh,
Well,
that's
Tell
a
me
famous
about your
hill
dad.
climbing
Tell me
family.
about your dad. What did he do?
Well, he won it 5 times.
Only 5 times?
I know. Well, Scott Moran calls him 5 times, which is quite funny because he calls Scott 6 times. So it was, Dad won it 93, 94, 98, 99, 2000. So 92 was Roy Lane, I'm pretty sure. I think 91 was Martin Griffiths, but I'll be corrected. Oh, we'll have to pause that game because someone's being brave and coming to the start line in their car. We've got an Empire Wraith with dark grey with green highlights, and it's the number 88.
Robert Kappa?
So it's the Kappa car, yes. Exactly that. On slicks, but very shiny slicks, but it is on slicks. So, well, let's see. Let's see what happens. It's going to be a tentative run because it is wet. He's just coming off the line in front of me, feeding the power, short shifting through the gears. He's into 3rd and 4th. It is kicking up spray. There's quite a lot of water down as he turns into Kettle to you.
Yes, it is. He's taking it steady, but he's driving well. Robert from London used to have a Force, which I think Richard Brandt has got now. Anyway, he's got spray going through middle crossing box. Over to you, Lloyd.
Yeah, with me now, as I say, it's very tentative, isn't it? It's just a suggestion of a drive, really, isn't it? Just to have a look and see. But yeah, it's fairly pedestrian for what it should be, but he's making it towards the finish line.
Next on here we got Darren Gumley in the Force. He's also on slicks, popping and banging in the launch controls as he came off the line, but he's already with you. He's going pretty well.
Yeah, he is actually, to be fair. Darren is a very talented driver. He has made top 10 runoffs in the past. If it's wet, I think it would really suit him tomorrow, but it's not probably going to be wet, but the smaller engine cars definitely like that.
Yeah, absolutely. When we were at Prescott at the start of the year for the pre-sort of season test, the 1100 and 1600s were absolutely flying.
Next, so that's 34.25 for Darren. Lee Griffiths is off the line in front of me again. The popping and banging and spluttering of the launch control. He's on slicks as well. This is a 2-litre car, so it's a slightly bigger motorbike engine. He's with you.
No, I don't think it is a 2-litre. I think he's got a 1600 Hayabusa in that one.
1700, so he's into the 2-litre class.
Yes, oh, of course, yeah. Okay, is he a turbo in that one?
No, naturally aspirated. But just an even more stretched Hayabusa than the 1600
Yeah, that's a pretty
class.
big stretch for a Hayabusa, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought that 1600 was as far as I could go, but they've managed. This one is, yeah, Lee's is 1660, Einon's is 1720. That's why they both move up a class. Oh, this is going to be interesting off the line in front of me, because this is William Loughbridge. This is the 1-litre, turbocharged motorbike engined Empire, and he had a huge snap as the power came in between the start line and Kennel. He's with you. He's on slicks.
Yes, he is. Well, yes, he's got some massive power in that little engine, hasn't he, really? He's gone through the speed trap into Bottomless now.
Good grief, this should be interesting. It's this is an awfully quick car. He gets a big oversteer moment, but yeah, fires it through the gears, downforce starts working, and he's okay. He's across the line.
It's going quickly as he goes across the line. He's still at 35.49. That's pretty good in the conditions. What's impressive, 112 over the finish. So once you get some heat in the tyres and the downforce starts working, the cars do grip up a bit. But also, maybe they're running because this is good practice for tomorrow. Let's see. But anyway, we've got Einon Price coming off the line. Now, interestingly, Einon has gone for wets. Einon is off the line and into Kennel, into your sight now.
Ex-rally driver, very good rally driver, loves the wet. My goodness me, this boy can drive in the wet. He loves it. The wetter, the better.
I was going to say, yeah, I would have thought Einon Price would have been quite happy with this, as you can just see him just flicking the car around and just seeing what it's going to do, and he's just having to fight the car out of top S, but he's absolutely fine. I think as soon as you get the power down, the aero kicks in, I think you're okay.
Wow.
Towards the finish.
110 across the line, 31.20, 31.20. So that's the end of the batch. So everybody else in that batch decided that they didn't want to play, unless people, who knows, maybe they let them tag on to other batches, but no other runners in that batch. I'll just take you through those times because it's quite interesting. Robert Capper, who ran first in the 1600cc Empire, he did a 39.41. He was the first person he was the guinea pig, really. He was the first person to run. He was on slicks. Darren Gumley went second, did a 34.25, also on slicks in the 1600 class. Lee Griffiths then went. He is in this further stretch, the 1700cc Hayabusa powered OMS. He did a 35.98. He was also on slicks. Then William Loughbridge went and did a 35.49 in the 1-litre turbocharged car, the Empire. And then Einon Price went on wets, the only driver to go on wets. He did a 31.20, so he was 4 seconds quicker on wets than everybody else was on slicks. I'm looking at the stream, and it is raining again on the finishing straight.
It's properly raining now. Properly raining.
Yeah, the sky's brightened up there. Well, I'm looking.
It's looking on the stream. It's raining again out of top S.
It's raining again.
It's the hardest it's been all day, to be honest. It's properly raining now.
So keep an eye on it.
You're a nightmare
Lloyd.
on the rain front. You started talking about the rain earlier. I blame you entirely for everything.
I think we did quite well to get this far through the day, to be honest. If you'd have said we'd have had a shower at 4 o'clock, at 9 o'clock this morning, I think you'd probably taken it, to be honest.
Well, we're not doing bad. We're not doing bad. To be fair, we've had a lot worse recently, haven't we? To be fair, we've had some shocking weather recently. So yeah, I think this is quite good.
I'm looking down at the start line because obviously that tiny batch is coming back down. It is raining quite heavily down here at the start now, so I can see the Sean Gould, Matt Ryder Gould with Sean in it because I can see Matt stood next to it. I don't know if it's on wets or not. I can see the top of a red tub next to it, which looks like the top of an Empire. So I'm guessing that'll either be the Anscombe car or the almost identical Pot. Is it Potts? Yes, Stephen Potter's car's the other red one, isn't it? So we might see them. We've got flags in.
It does look a bit damp out there.
Yeah, no one's in a tearing hurry to come to the start line.
Oh, really? How interesting. Do you think we're going to get a few saying no comprende, not playing?
In that last batch should have been 20 cars. Oh, I'll tell you, it should have been 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 25. Should have been 25 cars in batch 5, and we got 5.
So here's a bit.
Oh, well, we're a bit short-changed there, weren't we?
So here's a bit of controversy for you then, if you want more weather chat. The sun is out at Top S now. It's still raining, but the sun is out at Top S now. So,
is there a rainbow? Is there a rainbow?
Go figure.
Well,
British
yeah,
summer.
I can see the sun out. I can see the rain heavy, and I can see big bright sky. So yeah. Oh, I've got a rainbow. I've got a rainbow in front of the crossing.
Oh, there you go.
Oh yes. Oh yes, it's not Jesus wants me for a sunbeam, but I've got a rainbow anyway.
Welcome to HillClimb.TV, where we talk about fishing and rainbows.
Yeah, weather.
We talk about all
It's
sorts, don't
high-octane
we?
fishing rainbows here on HillClimb
Now this
TV.
rainbow, I can see both ends. So is there a pot of gold there? That was always the thing, wasn't it? That's what my dad used to tell me.
Yes, so it is brighter, but it's raining. I'd say it's being British summertime.
This is nothing for us Brits. This is just a little splash. This is
clearing up
nothing.
now.
We love a bit of rain, don't we? We're Brits. Get the brollies up, tough it out. We're happy days, Excuse me 1 second, folks. I have a gentleman at the gate.
Well, whilst you do that, I can tell you that the flags are in, and nobody's coming to the start line. The thing is, we're ahead of time. It's what is it, 20 to 4. So we're doing okay on time. Officially we've got 3 batches to go. So we're ahead of time. The clerk of the course is walking down towards the paddock. He's probably trying to work out what everybody wants to do, because I don't know if there's a time limit on people coming to the start line. Less strict on this kind of thing in practice, really, but it may be that he's going to tell people to make a decision. And in fact, we have a car coming to the start line, gentlemen. It's a red Empire with a black nose cone and gold wheels, which means it is the Empire, which should have run in the last batch, but I think batches are slightly out the window at this point. I believe it's Stephen Potter.
I honestly don't think if the sun comes out in the way that it looks like it will, I don't think it's going to be long before we're back to dry conditions.
Hey, listen,
Let's
guys.
see.
I've just been told how to get rid of the LHM fluid on my drive.
Well, that's good. That is good news. Meanwhile, I've got a car off the start line very tentatively, as you'd expect. It is number 86. It is Stephen Potter in the 1600cc Empire. He's on slicks. He's with you.
He is indeed. Yes. He's getting a nice rooster tail off. Yeah, beautiful, that little Empire. He has a lot of water coming off the back of the rooster tail. So yeah, the track is very damp.
Yeah, he's just with me now. He's obviously taking it super careful. Nice and smooth inputs into the steering and the throttle. And yeah, big rooster tails towards the finish, but let's just see. I mean, when the aero starts to work, it does stick the car to the ground, but I can barely see it because of the spray.
There's a lot more spray than there was even on the last batch. Time for Stephen Potter, 38.38. 38.38. I'm surprised he went on slicks. I thought, given Einon's time, which was 4 seconds quicker than anybody else, people might have switched to wets.
One might make the assumption that he had wets. I've been to meetings where people actually haven't got them. They just haven't got them.
Well, I'm seeing another car come to the start line. I've got Sean Gould coming to the start line, doing 3 massive burnouts, trying to get some heat into the rear tyres. Steam was coming off the rear tyres. He's on slicks. This is a car in these conditions, isn't it? This is Sean Gould in the 4-litre Gould GR59 Judd. Visor down. It's going to be interesting to see how he gets on. A lot of data to be, well, a lot to be learned, especially also for co-driver Matt Ryder. He's off the line, tickling it off the line. Good start from Sean. Then uses the power. It steps out slightly before Kennel, but he's through Kennel now to you. He's on slicks, remember?
Yes, he is. And, well, he's certainly nipping along, though. I would say this is the builder of these Gould cars, an absolute genius, man, great driver. And we think he's the hill record holder.
He is the hill record holder,
Well, this will be interesting. So he just turns it through bottom S, even just attempts a bit of throttle, and the car says no. Let's see if the traction control allows him to get going. He's short shifting and he's heading across the finish line, but yeah, with a load of spray following him.
Time for Sean Gould, 33.37. Oh, Zach Zammit off the line in front of me. Big snap of oversteer as he came past me as the car twitched. He's on wets. This is a supercharged 1300cc Empire. He's with you.
He certainly is. Comes from Malta. Very committed driver. Lovely chap. On his way into bottom S, Lloyd.
Yeah, Zach Zammit was at the Masters in 2021. Driving this, non-supercharged at the time, well turbocharged at the time, but you can just see that power really firing it across the finish line now. Wow, amazing.
He was on a wet tyre, 33.66. It actually almost looked like a cut slick. It didn't seem like it was fully treaded. It was partially treaded, is the best way I can describe it. He did a 33.66. Sean Gould did a 33.37 on slicks, which is pretty impressive. The paddock falls silent because we've got nobody else coming to the line. Rich, thank you for switching camera angles so I can see a paddock full of a lot of people looking at a hill climb course, but not many people venturing into their cars. We do have a car being pushed to the line. It's the Van Diemen, the Formula Island car. I don't know if that is going to be with Aaron Colburn on board or not. It'll either be Aaron or it will be his teammate Andrew. I don't know. I think it's son, because I think I can see Dad pushing the car. He's shaking his head at the camera, so I don't know if that's all one of these conditions, but I believe it's Aaron. So we'll wait to see that car. It's fired.
No, I think that Aaron is the son.
Yes, that's right. I think it's Aaron who's in the car.
Aaron, and he's pretty quick. He told me this morning he's quicker than Dad. But there you go. But it's often the case, isn't it?
Well, exactly.
Yeah, we all get old, and the sons are the mad ones that don't care anymore.
Yes, Aaron is currently on a 28.70, and Andrew is on a 30.01. So yes, he is quicker. The car has fired, but I think they've turned off again and they seem to be looking at something on the dashboard. Dad was leaning over the steering wheel, but got the thumbs up, so is now coming to the start line, just bringing it to the pre-start area to get some heat in the tyres. It looks like wets, but I will tell you when they get closer, because they're currently spinning, so it's a bit tricky to tell. It is, I would say again, that's not a full wet. It's like an intermediate. I don't know if you can get intermediates. I don't know if Andy can hear me and give me a thumbs up if it's an intermediate, but it looks like it might be. So let's see how he gets on. Slap bang in the middle of the road. Car lined up. Waiting the green light. It's currently red, so waiting for race control to give him the green light. Yes, it's like it's best I describe it as an intermediate. It is Aaron. Green light given now. He's off the line, lots of wheel spins. He tries to get the power down, feeds second gear to it, and I think third and maybe even fourth before he gets to Kennel to control the wheel spin. He's with you.
He certainly is. Well, he's got impeccable lines. He's driving very well indeed. The car looks absolutely stunning. He's a very talented young driver. Plenty of spray on middle marshal post into bottom S.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just tips it in. Let's see what it does. A little bit of a wiggle, nicely corrected. Just soaring at the wheel, and just as a bit of an oversteer moment, the car just plants itself across the finish line. No major dramas, to be honest. The cow's having a nice look.
Yeah. Time
any
for
cars?
Aaron Colburn, 37.02. Nobody else coming to the line at the moment.
Shall I tell you what I've just seen from my lofty perch up here? I've just watched some sheep being rounded up by a 4x4. These days they've all changed. There's no little man running around with a sheepdog, mate. They had looked like a Mitsubishi truck or something like that, and the sheep were... Oh, in fact, he's still there. He's still there. The things you see at Shelsley Walsh, sheep herding.
So, just so you know, Wallace Mingus is being wheeled out of his garage on wets. Helmet on, in car, engine fired.
Do we have a wet weather record here?
No, but if we did, he'd have it. He is quite a master in these conditions.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I think it was a Harewood. I think he won the runoff by like a second and a bit in dodgy conditions. This is interesting to see. Wet weather tyres attached to the car. So going on a bit of a data gather. Let's see if therefore other people come out and play as well. Here comes Wallace. 1 burn out of the tyres, 2 burns the tyres, trying to get some heat in them, and a 3rd as he brings it to the line. Lines up, driver's side left, so I can only just see him out of my commentary box. Yes, these are full wet tyres. They're not intermediates. They are full wets. Interesting. The sun is out. The track is wet. Not even damp. I don't think we're going to get full dry track again today. Really, in the next hour or so. But let's see. Wallace on the line. Puts his visor down. Off the line in front of me. Just really nice start from Wallace. Popping a bang as he passed me. But he's got so much grip as he heads into Kennel on his wet. 2.69 second start.
Magnificent looking car. Brilliant driver. Finest car you'll see on the hill today. Flying Scotsman from Alloa to the Colchicke Forest finest. Off he comes.
Yeah, popping and banging into sight. Bit of an oversteer, but no problem at all. Wallace is absolutely planted. Wow. The traction control just fluffing as it sets the car perfectly towards the finish line. That's amazing.
29.11. 29.11. 138 miles an hour across the line in the wet. Sub 30-second run. That's impressive. What's going to be interesting, if it does this tomorrow, it will, 1100cc cars will qualify for the runoff. So to have a idea of what it's going to be like, then maybe that's handy. And actually, funnily enough, they're like buses, these hill climb drivers. We've now got Alex Summers lined up to take a run with wets. We've got Trevor Willis in the queue as well. Alex is just coming to the line. In the DJ on wets.
Should we just break this down slightly? 1500 brake horsepower per tonne in the wet with barely a car's width of track at 138
across the line. Yeah. It's once these tyres get some heat in them and once the downforce starts working, Alex brings the car to the line. Full wet tyres on the DJ. 2.65 litre engine in the back. Over 600 horsepower behind him. Revs to, I've heard, I'll have to ask him. 15,000.
15, yeah.
When it's on full gas Mark 6.
The Wallace's is about
Brings the car to
13.
the line, and he's off the line now, popping and banging, a big squirt of power as he sets off between the start line and Kennel, turns into Kennel now.
Brilliant, yeah, brilliant driver, Alex Summers. The car's screaming, the engine sounds amazing. If anyone can do the job tomorrow, Alex has got a brilliant chance.
Yeah, Alex is an amazing driver. Obviously, he's so adaptable in all sorts of conditions. Perfect under the top box and absolutely flying towards the finish line. This will be quick.
Let's see if it's also in the 29s. I think it will be. Oh, no, it's in the 28s. 28.96. 28.96. 138 miles an hour across the line. He gave a bit of a shrug of his shoulders on the start line. I think that's because he was held on a red light for a long time. He was trying to say, hurry up, all the heat's leaving my tyres. Next, off the line, Trevor Willis in the OMS on slicks. He's on slicks. He's into Kennel now.
Wow, Trevor, brave, scary Trevor. Well, here he comes, but I tell you what, he's making very nice progress up the hill. Yeah, he's one of our regular instructors, great driver, 3 times champ too.
Absolutely, yeah, just appears into my sight now. Just has a little wiggle, just feathers the power slightly as he sets the car straight and fires it towards the finish. That's going to get across the line quite quick.
It's going to be a quick time, not quite as quick as the others. 30.64, 30.64 on slicks.
Wow.
It's basically straight away at the almost changeover point where it's just the conditions you're not quite sure what to do. We're now bathed in sunshine at the start line. We've got people with their sunglasses on.
It's exactly what you've just said, Billy. It is at the changeover point already, isn't it?
It is, and I'm being handed a note, which is a very important note, which is...
Mark Withy and Patricia Scarl, they should be here on site, but can they call Claire Wilson? They can't, obviously there's no phone reception, but don't panic.
Right, okay, so just a message from Mark Withy and Patricia Scarl. Please can you give Claire Wilson a call? Don't panic. It's nothing bad, but there's no phone reception here at Shelsley. So if you are Mark Withy or Patricia Scarl, please can you give Claire Wilson a call. It's nothing to panic about, but there's no phone reception here. So if you're any of those two people, give Claire a call just for a catch-up. Great, thank you. That was the end of the message. That is the end of the batch as well. And we're bathed in sunlight down here at the start line. People have got their sunglasses on. They'd have thought if they watched the stream from 10 minutes ago, we were making it all up. But that's going to be that in terms of practice runs. I doubt anybody else will be running in the big cars because we're about to go now to batch 7, which is the one-day meeting cars. So whether or not anybody else who wants to have a go will be allowed to tag on, or whether they were given their opportunity in their batch and that's it, we shall see. But I mean, 3 very good runs there from 3 very good drivers from Wallace, Alex and Trev in these conditions. Don't you think, gentlemen?
Yeah, certainly asking a lot of their electronics, that's for sure. I mean, the drivers carry plenty of bravery to even wheel the car out in these conditions, given the performance. It's stunning, but they're so technical, aren't they? These cars, they're so advanced that they've got amazing electronics that allow them to go out and do this.
We were lucky to see them go, weren't we? Because they didn't have to go. And
we were lucky to see them go.
You know, they did a great job for us. 3 fantastic champions there. So Trevor's won it 3 times, hasn't he? So Wallace has won it 3 times now, hasn't he?
3. He's on for his 4th.
He's on for a potential 4th, leading the championship. Sean, I don't know if he's won the championship, but he's one heck of a driver.
He is. He hasn't a manufacturer. He's never won it as a driver. But he has as a
Yeah, I mean, what a clever man too to build these magnificent Goulds. I mean, they are the car to have. Back in the day when your dad was racing, Billy, it was Pilgrims, wasn't it?
And Gould. So Dad.
He had a Gould. Yeah.
He had the first. He had a 37.
Right.
98, 99, 2000 was a 37 championship. I'm getting a visit from the headmaster, so I'm just going to quickly pop off and hear what he's got to say.
Well, one doesn't know who the headmaster is, do we? But how about you, Lloyd? What's it looking? Looks good for me, mate. The weather's come good all of a sudden, hasn't it?
Yeah, I've got like a pocket of sunshine, which is quite nice. And the track, there is certainly a dry line now appearing, but obviously the worry is if you're firing your slicks back onto your car, you don't want to cop a bit of wet track halfway up the straight at 140 miles an hour. So
well, I'm guessing the runners that were going to come, you know, because they're sort of time runners, aren't they now? So we'll be seeing most of those because we've had quite a few drop out, obviously.
Yes, of course.
Just a quick message from the start line. Richard Lane is at the start line. I think his wife Kate is up the hill. Richard was going to get a lift up to meet her in the course car, but obviously hasn't been able to happen due to the weather and the course car's not going up. So Kate Lane, if you can hear this message, could you come and meet Richard back at the start line, please? Thank you. That was the message. Right, so now we've got Seb Cartwright on the hill in the little Mini.
Supercharged Mini too, isn't it? 1293, supercharged. He's only had this car a few weeks. It came as a rock box. He's rebuilt it. He's going to reshell it actually when he gets another shell.
Yeah, and hopefully that shouldn't take too long being a Mini, because there's only about 35 bits of stuff to stick to a Mini shell. So hopefully it shouldn't take him too long. But he's gone through my commentary box and heads off towards the finish line.
Next on the hill, Luke Mason in the Lotus Elan SE. This is the front-wheel drive car. It will be good in these conditions to have front-wheel drive.
Yes, they don't look spectacular. He's got a hood on this one as well, but the Elan, I think it's probably the one with the Isuzu engine?
Yes, that's it. That is Isuzu.
Yes.
I knew it was somebody random that made pickups or toothbrushes or something.
How weird is that? Lotus and Isuzu. Who would have thunk it? But either way, he's off towards the finish line. No dramas at all.
Time for Luke Mason is coming up in a moment. It's going to be a 45.61. The Mini of Cartwright did a 40. So that's Seb Cartwright did a 47.26. And now on the hill, Chris Westwood in the Lotus Elise S2.
Pretty little car, this one, but he was telling me this is a fairly standard car, but actually worth a lot of money these days. It's over 30 grand, that car now.
Yeah, they're super collectible, aren't they, the S2s? People always argue what's better, the S1 or the S2. I think it's personal preference, isn't it? But he's certainly going steady, feeling out the conditions, and understandably so. But now gets himself on cam and heads towards the finish.
Yes, very sensible in these conditions to go steady. He's heading towards the finish. It's going to be a 48.29. Joshua Organ now on the hill in his MX-5. Lots of wheel spin off the start line.
Very standard car, he was telling me that, but making nice progress. Up to you.
Right, now these are MX-5 conditions because it's a bit greasy and you've got rear-wheel drive, potentially a diff. You can have a load of fun with an MX-5 at very, very sensible speeds, as I'm sure Joshua is doing as he heads across the finish line.
Talking about a good car for the conditions, Claire Lightwood is on the hill in her Rover Mini. Time, by the way, for Joshua Organ was a 43.80, but Claire is with you at Crossing.
Yeah, she is, making nice progress up the hill. The Minis are great little cars, fantastic competition cars, fantastic shopping cars. And these are the proper Minis, small and nimble, not like these great big huge things now, which are like BMW size.
Yeah, they're all different. Obviously, things have to get bigger, don't they, because of the ever-growing safety regulations, etc., etc. It's nice to see the Minis and how petite they are, but always nice to see them.
And as Claire heads up the hill to the finish, we've got Roy Newton on the hill in the Carrera 2S. This is rear-wheel drive, rear engine. This is hairy in these conditions.
Yeah, it is quite a hairy ride he's having up the hill at the moment. Already with you, Lloyd.
Yeah, interestingly as well, it's actually a Tiptronic car, so it's an automatic. This is so it's a slightly different, really, but sounds well, and he's heading towards the finish.
Time for Claire Lightwood in the Mini was a 54.70 as Roy heads towards the line and posts a 41.14 in his Porsche. Simon Baker now on the hill in his Porsche 997.
Yeah, sounds fabulous. Already coming into bottom S, Lloyd.
Yeah, good looking car, the 997. Really nice lines, to be honest. The 996 was always a little bit controversial because of the way it was styled. Not everybody liked it, but I think they fixed it with the 997. I like both. Simon heads his way towards the finish. No dramas.
Across the line for Simon Baker, it's a 41.46. Graham Godfrey now on the hill in the Audi TT. If this is four-wheel drive, this will help.
Yes, he seems to be making quite good progress, to be fair. Yes, I think the conditions suit him really well, and he's already going to bottom S.
Yeah, definitely. He probably shouldn't lose a lot of time, if any at all, compared to the dry. They say the Quattro is better when wet, so it doesn't look any slower than it would in the dry. I don't think it's been affected at all. This should be pretty nifty.
I've got a Mark 1 Escort.
This is Graham Godfrey. This is Martin Saunders.
Yeah, doesn't that look and sound fantastic? What a lovely, lovely car. Already through the speed trap, going into bottom S. Over to you, Lloyd.
Yeah, you talk about cars that you'd like to take home with you. I think this would be the one I'd take home with me, to be honest. Chris, I have a new favourite car every single day, but I think that Bubble Arch Mark 1 Escort is probably my favourite car of the day today. So off Martin heads off towards the finish, and keeping it steady, he's across the line now.
Time for Martin Saunders, it's a 44.35. Dave Nursey now on the hill in the big Jag XJS.
Wow, what a tool that one is. Yeah, go on, Dave. Local, well, he's one of our regular officials here, isn't he? Yeah, that's got to be a bit of a handful, but he certainly can drive the car very well indeed.
Yeah, go on, Dave. Absolute legend. Piloting this up the hill. It's fantastic. XJS. I wonder where it started its life. I wonder if it was a road car converted to this, or whether it was a like an XJS racing car of some sort, and whether there was a challenge or a cup or something. But either way, sounding good, looking good. He's across the line.
It is indeed. We've got Dave Nursey did a 47.71. We've now got David Rogers on the hill in the Jaguar F-Type. Whether or not it's Larry might answer the four-wheel drive question for you.
Massively powerful car. He was certainly, it sounded back. I think he's taking it pretty steady.
Do you know what? I can tell you, I can do a reg check while I'm here. FA57 DWR. Let's see if I can do it by the time it gets to the top of the hill. See if it'll tell me if it's all-wheel drive. It certainly sounds good. It is. It's an V8R all-wheel drive, 550 brake horsepower.
Very
2017,
nice
quick old thing.
Nice car. He heads towards the finish. He does a 46.08. Jonathan Langmead now on the hill in his Lotus Elise.
Bathed in sun. Jonathan Langmead bathed in sun now, making lovely progress in this very, very pretty Elise.
Yeah, it is a really pretty Elise. I really like the Phase 2s. I think they're wonderful. He's got a little wiggle as he heads out of bottom S, and nice and neutral out of top S, and he fires it towards the finish. I like the Mark II Elise more than the Mark 1, I think. I think it's a really pretty car.
Time for Jonathan Langmead, it's a 40.44. Good time in these conditions, 40.44. Colin Richards now on the hill in the little MG Midget.
Yeah, I've got him coming into view actually. Yeah, the little midgets have been such a popular little car over the years, and in fact can be made to go very, very quickly indeed. Little A-series engine in that one, and already heading on his way up towards the speed trap, going through the speed trap at 46.
Yeah, so just making a bit of an observation now, chaps. The straight now out of top S, there's a little bit of moisture just at the exit of top S, but it's kind of very limited to the outer edge of just under my commentary box. I actually would say it's pretty much dry now as we head up towards the finish. Collins across the line, but I think it's getting a lot better.
Well, I've got Toby Ward just gone by
hard,
me.
isn't he?
Yes, he is in the Toyota, one of those modern Toyotas with the numbers and names I can't remember. But anyway,
Yeah, the GT86. It's a flat four. It's a Subaru engine without the turbo, but lots of fun and kind of a bit of an MX-5 rival, I suppose, if you like, without the roof coming off. But Toby having a good time as he heads across the line.
Time for Toby Ward, 41.97. Martin Rawson now on the hill in the mid-engine Toyota MR2, took it very nice and steadily as he left the line.
yes, the old MR2s. Well, what's not to like about them? That's one of the later ones, I'm guessing. It's I've never had one, but they look like they're rear engine, or are they mid-engine, Lloyd?
Mid-engine, yeah, mid-engine 1.8. It's variable valve timing, same engine you'd find in the Celicas of a similar age. Great value for money. Really nice weight distribution, 50-50 weight distribution, about 160 brake. Good car.
In the meantime, we've got Richard Morris on the hill in another Mazda MX-5 as we await Martin's time. Martin's time of 49.06. Richard Morris on the hill in the MX-5.
Yeah, he's got a T-Reg I see on the number plate there. I don't know how old that car is. Is it older than I think it is, Lloyd, do you think?
The car of, which one, mate? Richard Morris's car?
Yeah.
I reckon that's 20 years old if it's a T-Reg.
Yeah, this is a Mark. Yeah, so this is a Mark II. It's just with me now. So it's a Mark II. This would be the first of the 1.8s, and it's about probably 96, 97, isn't it?
As we wait for a time there from Richard, he's going to cross the line shortly. It's a 53.87. Robin Gutteridge on the hill now in the Renault Clio Gordini. Enjoying his time. I spoke to him at lunchtime. He was about a second off his PB.
Excellent. Well, obviously the conditions have deteriorated, but nevertheless, Lloyd can tell us all about that Renault.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's the 2-litre 16-valve F4R engine, 6-speed gearbox, nice close ratios, wide front track. It's just a fantastic car. I've had 3 or 4 of them, and they are just wonderful cars straight out the box. Modern classic, in my opinion.
Do you like Clios?
As it turns out, do you know what? I do.
Strange, should have
He
said
prefers
something.
the 205 though, doesn't
I do
he?
prefer a
the
205. I do prefer a 205.
Time for Robin Gutteridge in the Clios, 49.98. John White now on the hill in an MX-5.
Yeah, Lloyd, straight over to you for that one, bud.
Thank you. Yes, so this is the Mark III MX-5. They did these in a 1.8 or a 2-litre. If you'd got a 2-litre engine, you got yourself a 6-speed gearbox and a limited slip diff. And looks like John White's got his limited slip diff as he just does a little slide through the S's, but he'll be across the line any second now.
Meanwhile, on the hill, we've got Maggie Richards. This is in another Renault Clio.
Certainly is. Car 225. This is the 2-litre 197 version, but Lloyd will tell me I'm wrong. And she lent this to David Garnett the other week at Lowton.
Yes.
Prescott.
Yes, you're wrong. It's not a 197. It's a Clio 200. They're based.
I knew I'd have it wrong.
The 197 came in 2006 till about 2009, and then they facelifted it with the 200. A little bit more power, slightly better gearbox, as in different ratios. And there you go. I'm boring everybody.
No, you're not. You're a mine of information. And guess what? We got another Clio. Looks like a 172 or 182.
Is it a 172? Steve Sims.
It's a 172.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can see it's obviously had a bit of suspension work. It's been stripped out. I tell you what, when you strip a Clio out, I mean, you can just take them hill climbing. You can go and chuck them around a track all day. They're fantastic, but they are starting to get harder and harder to buy now because so many have been chucked into barriers at various racetracks. So.
Well, just some times for you. John White did a 48.79. Maggie Richards did a 44.30. Steve Sims has just done a 47.24. Sean West is now on the hill in a Mark IV MX-5. I love these because Mazda actually said we on purpose made it smaller and lighter than the car that came before, the Mark III.
Yeah, Well, and how good is that? What a lovely ethos as well from Mazda, and yeah, it's a Mark III as well. This one, I say they did it in a 1.5 or a 2 litre. They also, this was the first area you can actually get a hardtop folding roof from one of these as well. So yeah, nice little car. Nice car.
46.14 time. Now we got on the hill Will Goff in an equally lovely Alfa Romeo 4C. Love this car.
Yes, I do too. Yes, there's 2 of them here today, isn't there? And very rapid. That 1750 turbo engine. It was dealing it to the Porsches earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, because it doesn't weigh anything, it's carbon turb. It's very, very light. Lots of carbon fibre all over the place. But the engine was originally started in the Abarth little Fiat 500s, and it's just been developed and bored out and turned up, and here we are finding itself in Will Goff's car.
Meanwhile, on the hill, it's a 46.63 from Will Goff. On the hill now, Patrick Hadley in the Morgan Plus 8. This is a handful in these conditions.
Yeah, making very nice progress though. You can certainly drive it well. It's certainly not out of shape into bottom S.
I wonder if this is the Rover V8 version or whether this is a BMW V8 version. I'll have to ask him. But yeah, lovely car, sounds great. Heading towards the finish line, no dramas at all.
As we await for a time for Patrick Handley as he heads up the finishing straight, it's going to be a 42.92. Stuart Diper on the hill now in the little Caterham.
Yeah, making lovely progress too. Yes, a pretty little car in orange. Already gone past the speed trap into bottom S.
Yeah, he was really grabbing this thing by the scruff of the neck earlier. Has a little wiggle out of bottom S, turns it into top S. No doubt having to correct a little bit. Oh no, he's kept it nice and neutral, and yeah, points it towards the finish line. Should be quite a good time given the conditions.
Time for Stuart Diper is a 38.63. 38.63. That brings to a close the cars in the one-day meeting, but you can probably hear a car in the background. That car is the Gould GR59 Judd of Matthew Ryder, who's coming to have a go and see what the conditions are like. He's on slick tyres, full slicks. He got a load of temperature into them in the burnouts.
I think he'll be fine.
It is slicks because it's a lot drier than it was 15 minutes ago, but it's greasy, very greasy, so we'll have to be tentative. There are a lot of other drivers I can see watching his run, see how he gets on. He's off the line in top me, second, third. He's pretty quick and wiggling his way into kennel, but carried a lot of speed anyway.
He's certainly not hanging about. My goodness me, coming into crossing. Oh, he's really trying. This man has got talent. He has got to be a future champion. Over to you, Lloyd.
Yeah, absolutely. Flashes into sight, just has a couple of bites of the cherry, gets it into bottom S, just clips the drain cover, gets it into top S. Traction just fluffs away as it puts the power down. He's off, he's going to get across the line.
Let's see what he does. It's a 27.13. 27.
Take that, he says. Take that, you boys.
It's an interesting time. There's a lot of people. I can see actually that Team Mingus is all watching. They also are all walking in a line, all in their Tilly Couchy Corrie's uniform, all having an identical ice cream. It kind of looks like a kind of different version of the Abbey Road Beatles image with 4 of them walking along in a line, all with ice creams.
So
anyway,
Matt was the quickest this morning, wasn't he?
He was.
He's been the quickest of the big boys in the damp conditions, hasn't he?
He has. I would say I would give that with the caveat that he had the best of the damp conditions, but I think a lot of people would have been watching that to see how he got on. It was a very good run indeed.
Well done to Matt.
That does bring to a conclusion the action for the day because flags are out. That was the last batch. I'll quickly take you through the results of the one-day meeting, which we've had. So, in the Jaguar Drivers Club Speed Championship, the win taken by Hayden Spedding on a 36.58. All of these are this morning's times. Nobody went quicker this afternoon. David Rogers in second on a 39.44. David Nursey third on a 43.14. And Jeff Mansfield fourth on a 47.60. And then in the Bugatti Owners Club New Barn Speed Championship, the win there was taken by Stuart Diper in the Caterham on a 33.03. Second, Will Goff in the Alfa Romeo 4C on a 37.21, followed by Sean West on a 37.48. Sean was driving the Mazda MX-5. Fourth, Patrick Hadley on a 38.64. Patrick driving the Morgan Plus 8. Fifth is Steve Sims in the Renault Clio 172 Cup on a 38.80, followed by Toby Ward on a 39.41. Toby was driving the Toyota GT86. Next up, Maggie Richards on a 41.32 in her Renault Clio, followed by John White on a 43.31 in the Mini Cooper S. Then Richard Durant on a 43.95 in another MX-5, followed just 0.05 behind on a 44 seconds dead was Martin Rawson, Martin driving the Toyota MR2. Then Colin Richards in the MG Midget on a 45.04, Richard Morris on a 45.31 in the Mazda, and rounding out the class, Robin Gutteridge on a 45.69. Robin driving the little Renault Clio. The other one-day runners, we had saloons and sports cars manufactured up to 1971 inclusive. That was won by Martin Saunders on a 37.88. Martin was, of course, driving the Ford Escort. Second was Ian Stringer on in the Alfa Romeo and on a 38.27. Finally, we had Paul Tebbett running as well in the Rover SD1. He was running in a class of 1 on a 41.28. We had Chris Bennett did not run today. We had Graham Godfrey running in Road Cars Series Production 4-wheel drive in a class of 1 on a 37.71. We then had Series Production cars over 2 litres. That was won today by Simon Baker in his 997 Porsche. He did a 36.42, followed by Roy Newton on a 37.67. And finally, we've got Road Car Series Production up to 2 litres. That was won by Luke Mason in the Lotus Elan on a 40.69, followed by Joshua Organ in the Mazda MX-5 on a 41.32. Next up, Chris Westwood in the Lotus Elise on a 41.68. Then Seb Cartwright on a 43.72, Seb driving his little Mini. And finally, Claire Lightwood on a 54.05, Claire driving the other Mini. So that's all the results of the day for the one-day meetings. We've had a fantastic day here at Shelsley. In the big 2-day meeting, it is Matthew Ryder who leads the way after practice, after the dry practice this morning, as well as posting a pretty impressive time in the wet conditions just then. We've had a brilliant day here. For those of you that are still here, thanks for sticking with us with the weather. We look forward to speaking to you tomorrow to take you through what will be a brilliant day of British Hillclimb Championship action. Safe journey home, and I will speak to you in the morning.
Motorsport UK TV, the home of unmissable British motorsport videos. Bringing you all the action from the British Championships. Taking you behind the scenes. Giving you top tips to succeed in every discipline. Showcasing the best equipment. And much, much more. Visit motorsportuk.tv today and make sure you never miss a moment. Motorsport UK TV, the home of unmissable British motorsport videos.